Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for the final run. We're going to be doing a Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizer. My name is SudoTrainer, and with me we have my other runner we're going to be racing against. Hey, Surly, how's it going?
Hey, Sudo.
Hey, Sudo.
Doing well.
Really
excited to
round
out
an
an excellent,
wonderful
marathon that is
Midwest
Midwest
Mid-Spring
Mid-Spring
Speed
Speed Flame.
Nice. And today we're really honored to have our commentator, Salad. Hey, Salad, thanks for doing this today.
Hey, no problem. I don't know if honored is the right word. I'm not exactly like a big celebrity or anything. But
Six-time tournament champion. Salad.
I'm glad somebody mentioned that because I wanted to, but I didn't want to seem big-headed. So it's going to be a good time. I'm glad to be doing this last-minute commentary, and it should be really fun.
I believe, Surly, you might be capturing your own Discord audio or your microphone in OBS. If you could mute that.
Done and done.
Okay, try talking again, Surly, just to make sure there's no echo.
You are absolutely correct. I was capturing both Discord. Well, you're capturing Discord. I was capturing mic and OBS. So, nailed it.
It's the final run. We have to have some sort of tech issue. Anyways,
Right, we're good then.
Perfect. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you guys for donating to the critical incentive. I think it was up for like maybe an hour or two before it was met. So we're really excited to be doing critical mode. A few things about what differs. I'm sure Salad will talk about it a lot, but beginner versus critical is way different. It's going to be much harder, and basically throughout the entire run, no matter how strong we can basically get 1 to 3 shot by almost anything. Some abilities we can find can help us, but it's way more risky and it's a lot of fun. So thank you for donating to that. And from here on out, Salad is your guy. He's going to be leading the charge.
I'm the
Do
guy.
we just want to throw down our bet about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tell it, Surly.
So we were going to do this on beginner, but it's going to be a little difficult. But now that we're on crit, we'll be donating $1 per death for each other. So I'll be donating for Sudo's death. Sudo will be donating for me.
So if you wind up losing and you get really salty, you can make the other guy pay for it a little bit by throwing in some deaths.
Yeah, we'll just go into final fights and just start death cycling. It'll be good for the charity, good for everyone.
If anyone in chat wants to match that, that'll get us all the way to our goal of 10K. The more people we get joining in on that bet.
Well, I'm ready. Surly, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, Salad, take it away. Give us a countdown whenever you're ready.
Okay. Well, guys, I'm going to start the countdown. We're going to have a great race. No spitting, no biting, no lollygagging, none of that. I'm just going to do some good old-fashioned 2FM randomizer racing today. I'm going to do a countdown starting from 4, because that's the only way to count down. And on go, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get you going. If that sounds good to you both?
Yep.
Hey.
All right. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Woo! Last
Good
run.
luck to both runners. Let's do this.
Thank you.
Okay, so immediately at the start, we're just gonna wait for a second before muting these guys. We are gonna keep them muted because in a race format, I'm gonna be discussing like what each person gets and stuff like that, and we can't be letting the other person know how the other racer in the run is doing.
Mithril Gem.
Mithril Gem.
Got a Mithril Gem. All right, good luck, guys.
Good luck.
Okay, so they're completely muted and deafened. All right, everyone, welcome to a wonderful randomizer race, and we've already got an incredibly spicy start. Okay, so there are a lot of things that I have to try and explain in a small amount of time, and then we'll just go through and we'll be a little bit, less excitable for the rest of the run. But okay, randomizer. What's randomized? Basically everything. So every chest that you pick up during the game, every reward, every ability, item, magic, summon, drive boost, everything, they're all randomized throughout the seed in one big pool, right? So there's something you could get on level 99, you're actually going to get in a chest somewhere in Pride Lands, right? Like all of these different things are possible. It's super fun. they both ended up picking up a report, and hints are a function of this randomizer. So this report that they picked up, there are 13 answer reports in the entire game. They both picked up report 4 in those first 3 chests in the starting area, and that told them that Simulated Twilight Town has 3 important checks. You should be able to see that on the tracker, on stream. And that just means that that world has 3 important things out of the 50 that are in the game. So we count important checks as magic, dry forms, summons, abilities once more and second chance, because they allow you to survive certain hits. Very good for critical mode. And things like that. So the 3 proofs being the main thing that they're looking for in this run, that is the goal. They want these 3 things: proof of non-existence, proof of connection, and proof of peace. And if they get all 3 of those, then they can work their way up the world that never was, right to the end of the game, and then go ahead and fight the final bosses. So that is the end goal of this. They are spending all this time looking in randomized chests and boss rewards and things like that, searching for those 3 proofs. So at the start here, we do have that one report which tells them that STT, Simulated Twilight Town, has 3 important checks, and it could well have a proof, those 3 checks. So that's a very, very interesting start. It's a world that not a lot of people go to early, because as soon as you go there, you are stuck. You have to do the entire world. So that's a pretty crazy hint to get first. That makes the race super exciting, whether one of them will choose to do it early with fewer tools than usual, stuff like that. So that's really interesting. I'm liking the start here. They both went to Pride Lands. This is the only start, really, in a 2FM randomizer. You can do other places, but in terms of competitive matches and stuff like that goes, everyone hits Pride Lands first. It's the big one.
That makes me happy because Lion King is my favorite Disney movie, and I was hoping we would see Lion Sora, and I'm getting my wish immediately. I love
that's
it.
awesome. Have you seen any 2FM actual speedruns of
Yes.
the game?
I've never seen Randomizer, but I've seen speedruns, and it's just amazing.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you're disappointed that you don't actually go to Pride Lands.
It's so sad.
Yeah. So thankfully, we do actually get to see that here. In the randomizer, which is great. They might not come back. They get all the chests on the way to Scar in the Oasis in the final room here, and then after that, there are only 2 remaining things in Pride Lands. You get 1 thing from beating Scar and 1 thing from beating Ground Shaker, and they're quite notoriously difficult bosses. So the chances of seeing them later is very unlikely. Okay, so Pride Lands so far has given us quite a few good things that both of them have, so they can shape their route based off this. We do have 2 torn pages now for each runner. Torn pages, every page gives you an access to a new page in the 100 Acre Wood book. And that is the massive door that you'll see. I'm sure they'll go into 100 Acre Wood very soon. If not straight after this, then in a couple worlds from now. And you can see it, but it's this massive pretty door with honey pots on it. And you can use the pages, you can go in there, and you can go find whatever's in there. Of course, the pages could be in any location, right? So you could have terrible torn page locations, and then one of the proofs that you need could be on the very last page of 100 Acre Wood. So that could be one of the most trolliest locations. We'll see if that happens today. If that happens, then it could be a very long run, depending on where those torn pages are. But it's a very interesting start for both. Those 2 torn pages are great. They also got a quick run in Pride Lands, which is very, very useful. You want this movement to be able to get around worlds faster, to navigate different areas. So you definitely want good movement early on here. And the next move for both of them is Disney Castle and another torn page. Oh, wow. I have no idea if I have any sort of delay. Chat can tell me if I'm spoiling things before they show up, and I'll be quiet for a few seconds. But another set of torn pages in Disney Castle means that they now have access to 3 different pages in 100 Acre Wood, which is crazy early. It's not something that people would generally push because there's only 3 chests in every page. But we'll see. One of the runners could decide to do that to sort of throw off the other one. And that could be an interesting change of route between the 2 runners, as they've currently just done the exact same thing, and they're basically tied at this point. They've covered the exact same ground, done the exact same things. So it's super cool to see how close these runners are at this moment in time.
Is it very common that they'll diverge heavily in routing later, or do you see most races it kind of stays together at the beginning? What do you think?
Right. For the very beginning, Pridelands is as I said, the one that everyone would do first. But even right here, we might see a change. I can see that yeah, exactly. Okay. So Disney Castle at the start here, SudoTrainer decided to leave after getting those first checks. And Surly here is actually going to do these mini escorts and go all the way to Timeless River. So that
Very
is a
cool.
play. Yeah, that is a play that some people will do, some people won't. While you go through to mini escorts and you get to Timeless River, you get, I think, 6 things. 6, we call them checks. And it's almost like you're checking to see if a proof is on this thing, right? So there are 6 checks in Timeless River for a proof, 6 things. So it's arguable whether it's a good play or not. And it's kind of 50-50 between a lot of the top runners. So it's really interesting to see that there's already a route difference like this, because sometimes you won't see that, right? Like sometimes you will just get Pridelands into the opening of Disney Castle into Halloween Town, something like that. It is like a standard route, but I mean, the further this run goes on, the more will change. Because you're looking at 2 completely different things now. Sudo is actually pushing one of the pages and doing a mini game, which is something that not a lot of people would do either, for 3 more chests. So it'll be super interesting to see, like, if he finds something huge in this next page, like a final form or one of the proofs that he needs, then that gives him a massive advantage over Surly. And the same with Surly getting final form or a proof in Timeless River, right? So their routes can diverge.
You never know.
Yeah, you really never know. And of course, with the hint system being in place, there's 13 of those littered around the seed, right? So if one of those ends up in Timeless River or 100 Acre Wood, then we could be seeing them go to different worlds based on the hint they get as well. So there will definitely be a lot of differences here, but the very start was the same as I would have expected. But it's really cool to already see something like this happen.
Absolutely. And can you explain a little bit about what the trackers on the bottom are telling us if someone's never really seen them before?
Right, yes. I've done so many of these by now that kind of slips my mind that people might not
commentating
understand what's
for
going on.
community members is different than, like, I've never seen this tracker before, so I'd love to know what the symbols mean.
Exactly. Okay, so the tracker here, we can see there are world symbols. So on the left side of each tracker, from top to bottom, you have Sora's levels, you have simulated Twilight Town, which is when you're Roxas, the tutorial section of the game, Olympus Colosseum, Land of Dragons, Pridelands, Halloween Town, Space Paranoids, and then the 3 doors in the bottom left of the tracker is just the starting things that you get at the beginning. And then the right side of the tracker, at the very top, you have drive forms, so the rewards you get for leveling up your drive forms when you get them. The key is Twilight Town, and then you have Beast Castle, Agrabah, 100 Acre Wood, Disney Castle, Port Royal, and the World That Never Was, where all the big nasty bosses are that we have to fight at the end. So that's the general layout. You can look at the symbols and try and work them out yourselves as well, like the lamp being Aladdin and Agrabah.
Of course, yeah. No, that's really interesting.
Yeah, so we have these really cool symbols, and then when you do get an important check, they will automatically pop up in that world. We have an auto tracker that
that's amazing.
It reads the memory of the game. So if you have a thunder, then it will just place it like when that memory appears. So yeah, that both runners happen to have that. So we'll see things pop up immediately. And we do have a couple of important things that have been found while I was discussing the tracker. Sudo has moved on through 100 Acre Wood. He's done another couple pages, as many as he can, and he found a report that said that Halloween Town is a 1. So you can see the number 1 pop up next to the pumpkin symbol on the left side of the tracker, and that means that Halloween Town only has 1 important check. So when you're looking for 3 proofs and you only need 3 things to beat the game, really, it's not the best world, right? Like a world with only 1 thing is not something that you'll push.
We want to go to a more populated area.
Yeah, you want like a 7 or an 8, something like that, really. So that's what the runners are probably going to aim for. But more importantly here than that hint, because it's not going to really matter for now, and we may well see Surly follow up on the pages and grab that hint as well. But that Timeless River decision from Surly really paying off, because he found one of the proofs.
Absolutely.
So he found the proof of peace, this little silver icon. That's what you're looking for. That's what the runners need. They need 3 of those. And Surly's decision to do Timeless River when Pseudo decided not to, specifically, that's huge. Because this 1 proof advantage, like, that tells you so much. It tells you, you know, you want to push the world that never was and beat all the boss fights quicker. Because, you know, you already have 1 proof. Like, what if the other 2 proofs are in the world that never was, right? And you get them while climbing on the way up, because you have to do these fights anyway. So if there are 2 proofs now in the world that never was, or 1 proof or something, then you definitely want that knowledge early, because you got to do these fights anyway, right? So the earlier
you can make progress in the boss fights while also making progress towards the proofs. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that Pseudo, he is quick running. He's going to be doing a strategy here to cheese Roxas, which is you can quick run him into a wall for 2 minutes and kill him. So if you haven't seen this before, this is pretty fun to see for your first time how this works. But the idea here is he's going to dodge the first 4 attacks that Roxas gives him. This should be the last one here, and then he's gonna do 1 combo after this reaction command, grabbing his keyblades. Oh no! Damn, that's unfortunate. He messed up the reaction command and took a death to Roxas there. So that's a pretty hefty death. But on the plus side, guys, that means Surly has to donate $1 to charity.
Let's go.
So that's good. And of course, if anyone in chat is joining in on that as well, then that's 1 for the bank.
Drop your dollar in.
Drop that dollar in, yeah. So that's an unfortunate death. They can happen on Roxas. It's quite tough to get set up, especially if you don't have a really fast movement like a glide to get around and dodge his attacks. So we're going to see Pseudo go for it again. There are a lot of chests after this on the way up to Xigbar. He'll definitely leave before the Xigbar fight, because that is tough. But yeah, so Pseudo is making his way through Roxas here, trying to beat him as quick as possible. He did find Chicken Little in the world that never was. One of the summons, you can see it's on his tracker, and that is an important check. As he takes another death trying to dodge those attacks, he's going to go for it again. I wonder how many times he's going to die before he just decides to give it up. That might be something interesting to see here, because you know you don't want a death cycle, especially in a marathon race. You don't want to spend too much time in like a lost cause fallacy of like wanting to finish this and get through the fight and struggle on it. So yeah, Pseudo on 2 deaths so far. They will be keeping track of their own deaths as well, they told me before the race, so that should be
good. I'm not good at counting, so I can't.
I can actually type it in the notepad I have up as well for each one. I have a whole notepad next to each stream, so I know which one is which, like which one is Surly and which one is Pseudo. So that works. But yeah, so while Pseudo is kind of struggling to beat Roxas here, we see Surly getting even more of an advantage, right? Like he's pushing things, he's clearing little things. He actually caught up on the page that had the Halloween Town hint in 100 Acre that Pseudo already had. So he now has that info as well as Pseudo. And now we see Surly clearing out the first bit of Space Paranoids as well. So one of the main strategies you're going to see is just dipping into every single world just to grab the first few checks. So Surly just went into Space Paranoids to grab 6 chests. We're probably going to see him just dip into Port Royal here. Yeah, he's going to go into Port Royal. He's only going to grab the first 3 chests, and then he's going to leave. So there's a lot of that.
Is there anything stopping you from going to any of these worlds at any time? Like, are there any prerequisites to get into certain worlds?
Right. Generally not, no. You can basically do any worlds in whatever order. So you could immediately go to the world that never was straight away, and if you had the tools, then you could just keep going, and you could just like clear the whole of the world that never was and beat Xemnas 1 before you even touched any of the other worlds. So you can do that, but obviously that's insanely difficult, and they're going to look for tools first before doing it.
Absolutely.
So Surly going from Port Royal into Land of Dragons, which makes a lot of sense just to grab these chests, and he does find the first glide of the seed. So glide is very fast movement, and he already has an aerial dodge. I'm pretty sure they both got that in either 100 Acre Wood or Pride Lands. So they both have aerial dodge and glide, which is super fast movement. So, Pseudo doesn't have that glide yet, But that's a big advantage that Surly has. Again, I know I keep saying it, but he really does have a lot of advantages here over Sudo. As we see, Sudo does have the quick rundown on Roxas. It's a little bit scary because he's not like next to the wall. So if he like angles his quick run wrong and goes to the left, too far to the left or the right, Roxas might break out here, which I'm sure Sudo isn't very happy about. But yeah, this is the run so far. So I'm gonna actually drop in with Surly real quick and ask him how he feels about the seed. Because he does have that one proof from Timeless River. He has a few pages, so he's got a bit of info now right now. I won't interrupt Sudo when he's mid quick running Roxas, but I just want to see like what Surly's thinking about this.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
While he's fighting Roxas, I do have a donation that just came in.
Oh sure.
There's $99 from Lazy Luca 1. Thank you so much for your generous donation. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much. Sorry, I was waiting for like a comment or anything, but okay, cool. That's a wonderful donation. Thank you guys so much for supporting the charity. Okay, I did say that we go in with Surly, but honestly, I think we should probably let him focus on this fight because it'd be quite tough. But we will go over to Sudo. Sorry, we'll go over to Sudo shortly when Roxas is done and catch up with him and see how he's doing.
And since this is on critical, a lot of these boss fights can be really scary, especially at a lower level without a lot of like drive forms and other things that we would use in the base game, right?
Yeah, of course. So that's one of the reasons why you'll see them dip into all these worlds, just to grab a couple checks, and they won't actually do a fight, right? It's so that they can grab, tools that would help them out on these fights. Maybe one small second chance to help them stay alive, so they don't get one or two shot everywhere. But yeah, it's as Sudo gets one shot by a shadow. Very unfortunate there. But just echoing the point, yeah, critical mode is scary. And the world that never was has the highest battle level in the game out of all the worlds. So every world has a set battle level, and the world that never was is 50. For a comparison, Land of Dragons is level 7 battle level. It just means that the enemies, it just means that the enemies do way more damage in the higher battle level worlds and stuff like that. So even though it's just a shadow, it's not even a boss fight. Sudo got one shot by it, and you probably will until you get something like a 15 defense stat. It's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure at this point I'm gonna bring in Sudo and get his thoughts on the seed so far and what he's done, and also the amount of money that he's made Surly donate so far as well. So we can see how he feels about that. Hey Sudo.
This is Surly.
This is Surly. I'm sorry. You keep we'll drop in with you if you're okay. Mid quick round fight.
Fine by me.
Okay, cool. How are you feeling about the seed so far and what you've got?
It's a little bit of a slow start, but not too bad overall. The early torn pages, now I'm looking at it, I have 3. Go back and do that. But otherwise, stats are looking good for the low level we're at, and yeah, nothing too extraordinary right now.
Right, and of course you did find that first proof. So how do you feel about that? And
I mean, it kind of makes sense, have 9 important checks. One of them has an okay chance of being approved, not great. Yep. So, part of the reason why I'm in the world never was as early as I am.
Right, of course.
And I'm just gonna die now. There. Crap.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay.
I pushed magnet instead of thunder. I'm silly.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. Okay, well, I mean, we're making Sudo donate to charity, right? So
exactly. That's our first one.
That was on purpose. I know it was.
Exactly.
All right, we're gonna let you count to 2 minutes again.
All right, sounds good.
I'll definitely the right person this time and talk to Sudo, see how he's doing. But yeah, good stuff so far, and good luck on the fight.
Thank you much.
Okay, now we're gonna talk to Sudo. Hey Sudo, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey man, I missed you.
I miss you too. How's commentating? Are you having a good time?
Great. We're having a lovely time, Sudo. So
nice.
I just wanted to talk about, we've seen you for about 20 minutes now. We happen to have had, I think, 3 deaths.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah. Okay. So I know most of those were on purpose, right?
Yeah, every single one. I really
yeah.
gotta drain Surly of that
Yeah.
fortune of wealth he has.
You know, the 2 on Roxas I was questioning, but as soon as you got one shot by that shadow, I thought, I know what this guy's doing.
Exactly.
I know he's got a plan.
So the funny thing is, I try to play it safe. I normally don't pause for Roxas, and I tried to pause for Roxas because I'm like, oh, whatever, I should play it safe. And trying to pause, I missed the pause button, and I died.
Oh no, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
So when I got to that point the second time, I'm like, alright, I'm just gonna go for it. Why
Yeah.
change it?
Gotcha. Okay, so how do you feel about the makeup of the seed so far and what you have?
It's a really interesting seed. I mean, we got 3 torn pages right away, so I decided just to get those out of the way and see if I got anything. Oh, and I just died again. So, we didn't get anything big there, but we got a lot of movement tools. So I'm gonna try to shotgun, get as much as I can, and hopefully get enough to get through some fights without any issues in the late game, and hopefully find some proofs.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I was about to mention 0 proofs so far for you. How are you feeling about, like, if the seed is a long seed or anything like that? Like, would you have preferred all the proofs to be early against Surly here? Maybe have you done any practices? You know, what's kind of seeds you're good at and stuff like that?
I feel like my endgame fights are better, so if we get a seed with less tools to make fights easier, I should have a better shot. But we already have like an experience boost if you just get the first 6 in 100 Acre. So yeah, I feel like it's already gonna be an interesting one.
Okay, well, I'll leave you to it. We'll hopefully see a lot more deaths here in Agrabah in the cave for charity.
We're already up to 4, so
Let's go. Thank you very much, and I'll check in with you later.
see ya.
That was
Okay.
so fun. I loved hearing their thoughts.
Yeah, it's such an interesting thing because when you're watching runners do these sorts of races in tournaments or just casually, and they're not talking to their opponents, they can really go into detail about like all these little aspects of their run and their thought process, and everyone has a different one as well.
Absolutely. Like I play and watch a lot of Celeste Bingo, and it's so interesting to be like, at what point in the match, what are people thinking? Where do they think their opponent is? You know, what's the game plan? And just you have the same seed but such a different experience. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Again, we already see such a drastic difference with Surly getting that first proof and Sudo seemingly not interested in going to Timeless River anytime soon. So it's so cool to see these little nuances and differences in the rando, and there's going to be plenty of those throughout. But I mean, both of them getting Roxas out the way, the Roxas fight makes a lot of sense. Quick running him to death there. Again, it's something you need to do anyway, because you need to climb the tower and beat all of the bosses. You have to beat Zigbar, Sayax, Luxord, and the first Xemnas fight at the skyscraper. So they have to do all of those before they can actually enter the final fights. So it doesn't matter if you get all 3 of the proofs if you can't do those boss fights, right? So that's a really important component of this, and they're just getting Roxas done as early as possible to grab all of these chests. Okay, so this is the first time I think we're going to be seeing the Olympus Colosseum first 7 chests. So this is the passage here. Sudo just getting a negative combo. There have been a couple like nice abilities that they found so far. Ooh, Second Chance. Okay, so Second Chance is an ability that stops you from getting one shot, basically. If there's a move that hits you once and it would kill you, you'll survive on 1 HP. So that's a very useful tool that Sudo now has, and maybe he'll die a little bit less. So it's good that he found that, and maybe he can save a bit of time on Surly through surviving with that. Also found a report. The report is for Disney Castle, which is huge. So that report pointing to Disney Castle and Timeless River, they're all the same world when it comes to these reports. So now Sudo knows that there's one more important check in Timeless River. He might decide to just go and do those checks, because he knows that that is something that a lot of runners might do, and then he can catch up, he can grab that proof. So it doesn't look like that one proof is going to be too, important at the moment. I would imagine that Sudo will grab that at some point soon. But yeah, we're just seeing the runners go through these early worlds here and grab stuff. Sudo went through Agrabah, and he found a blizzard in the important checks column, but that's it so far. So Agrabah only giving a blizzard. We have no idea if the rest of Agrabah has anything good. We're going to have to wait to see if there's a hint for that. But yeah, both runners just plodding along, doing their thing, and collecting important checks. So nothing too special happening at the moment. We'll really start to see the paths change if one of the runners decides to push like Twilight Town or Hollow Bastion, because those are quite massive worlds. Twilight Town, generally people wait until they have final form to do the Twilight Town, because there are so many nobodies that you can kill and you can get easy experience for final form and level it up and get those drive form level up checks. But Hollow Bastion, I would assume both of them will be going there somewhat soon with the Magnet and Thunder that they started with. As Surly gets another death. Okay, that might be his first or second, sorry. So we've got a few deaths for each player now, which is always good to see. Okay, having a look at the number of important checks. So Sudo has 12 so far, 12 out of 50, and Surly has 11 out of 50. For about 27 minutes into his seed, that's kinda... It's less than average, I'd say. You're maybe used to seeing Halloween Town give you a couple important checks. It's usually one of the first worlds that people go to, but Sudo is only just doing it now, and he's pushing it later because, you know, there's only one important check here, so it wasn't seen as like a crazy important thing for him to do. He's checking his Keyblades there. The Keyblades have randomized abilities within the support abilities pool. So you take every support ability in the game, all the green ones, like Air Combo Boost, Air Combo Plus, Second Chance Once More, stuff like that. They can all be on Keyblades, randomized. So there's a chance of that, and it doesn't look like that Sudo had anything good, particularly on his Keyblades. But yeah, that's something that could be a thing in this run.
For those abilities, are ability points a problem at all in the randomizer, or not really? It's just what you find you can equip.
When you start on critical mode, you default get about 50 AP at the start. So you get a good chunk of AP.
Okay, that's a good amount, yeah.
That was very important for the randomizer, because of course you could just find like so many abilities in your first few worlds and you just be unable to equip them. So yeah, for the most part, runners will generally have enough AP to equip whatever abilities they want. Also on your level ups, so every level up is randomized, like whether you get an AP increase, defense, strength, or magic. That is all randomized as well. So wow. In terms of what they get from level ups, their stats could be terrible the whole seed, and they could just get so much AP. That's a possibility. So generally, especially with AP boosts themselves being in so many of the chests, like I think there's about 45 AP boosts randomized throughout the seed as well. So they generally will be fine for AP and be able to equip all the abilities they'd like, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is the first time we're seeing Hollow Bastion. And I did expect that to happen definitely before Twilight Town, because again, no final form, stuff like that, which is usually what people wait on. But Hollow Bastion here, it's a nice few early checks, but the main checks that you want to be getting in Hollow Bastion are in the second visit of the world, because after you do the Bailey fight, you can... Oh, so we haven't talked about this yet. So to get to the second visit of the world, because they exist, you have to basically just complete the first visit. So you'll complete the first visit of Hollow Bastion here, do the Bailey fight, and then all you do is turn around and go straight back into the door from the main world hub, and then you'll be in the second visit. It'll start you off there. So the worlds are all linear in their progression, which is always good. Sudo not finding that one important check in Halloween Town, and I can't really remember seeing any good abilities either. It's hard to keep track of like both screens at the same time, but I'm pretty sure there was nothing like that special that they got there. But there was one incredibly interesting thing that happened for Sudo just now. He found a hint on, I think it was level 14, They may have picked the same starting weapon. Let me just check. Yeah, they both started with sword. You can see it on the tracker in the bottom right. There's a little sword symbol, which tells you which weapon they picked at the beginning. But yeah, so they both pick swords, which means they're both getting the same rewards on the same level ups, basically. So at level 14, I'm pretty sure Sudo got that hint, report 6, and that hint hinted levels. And it hinted levels as a 1. So the only thing on levels this entire seed is the report telling you that there's only one thing on levels, which is kind of funny. It's a cruel irony. Hopefully we don't see that in too many other worlds, because it's always a nightmare, like getting to the end of Land of Dragons or something, and on the Shan Yu fight right at the end, you just get a report that tells you that Land of Dragons is a 1, because it counts the report itself. So that could be interesting to see later on in the seed, but we've already seen it on levels here. It's good to know that we don't have to worry about levels, and I actually think that benefits Sudo more than it does Surly, because he mentioned that he was way more confident in the final fights than Surly was. So he feels like he can do those fights with less tools, and now he's not going to have to level this seed to get a proof. So that no longer becomes a big factor in this run for him, definitely. And I'm sure when Surly gets that hint as well, that's something that he'll be thinking about.
Absolutely. Do we have time to read a couple donations?
Yeah, of course, go for it.
All right, we have $50 from Mice W that says, "One Switch, please. Also, thanks for an awesome weekend. Both VGM Online and Mid-Spring Speedfling have been awesome, especially hanging out with folks in the Discord and chat. You all rock." So yeah, reminder, if you make a donation of $50 or more, you will get entered to win a Nintendo Switch. And that's really cool. And we have $5 from Pendle Steven that says, "Violas are certainly real. Come on, anyhow, last push for the end of the marathon." So yes, our goal by the end of this run is to get to $10,000, and we are at 9,355. I think we can get a donation train going in support of this incredible randomizer run so far.
Okay, so $50 for the chance to win a Nintendo Switch?
Yes.
Damn, okay. We're looking at see if the runners die 50 times then.
Yeah, let's rack up those deaths maybe.
Yeah. Maybe they can make a combined account and put the donation through try and get it. But yeah, that's super cool. All right then. Oh, okay. So Surly is making the decision to do Twilight Town without a final form to his name, which means that he's missing out on a lot of experience that he'd usually get with final form. But at the same time, there are so many chests in this opening visit that it's almost always worth it to do Twilight Town in like the first 45-50 minutes of a run.
So
like
why is Twilight Town so scary? Because in the base game, this is like the first world you go to, right?
Yeah, no, it's definitely not scary. Especially not the first visit. That's very easy. As I said, the battle level earlier, the battle level for Twilight Town is 4. So they're definitely capable of doing everything in this world. It's just when you decide to go here without final form, you're missing out on leveling final very, very easily on this next fight.
I see. Okay, because the different drive forms have different requirements to level them up, right?
Yes, and final forms is 1 nobody kill equals 1 experience point.
And
you
there's
get
a ton of nobodies here. Makes sense.
yeah. You get basically infinite spawns of nobodies in the next fight until you deal, I think it's either deal 100 hits. Hits can be a little bit weird because with final form, the Keyblades hit like multiple times per attack, stuff like that. But it's based on the amount of hits that you do, or you can take a lot of damage. If you go down to 1/3 of your health, the fight will end. And there's a third way that it can end, and that is if you just sit there for 1.5 minutes, then the fight just automatically ends. So it's interesting to see which one runners will go for usually, but Surly has nothing. Like, he doesn't have final form. Leveling there just to get Sora level ups doesn't really matter, honestly, because the experience you get from it is so low because it's a battle level 4 world. So we're probably just gonna see him die in the first fight here. He's just gonna take a death abuse to end the fight early. He has a 6 defense stat, which you can see on the tracker. It's the number next to the shield. I guess I haven't explained that too well yet, but At the bottom of the tracker, you see levels on the left. The little keyblade is strength. The little magic hat is for magic, and then the shield is for defense. So you can see their stats as we go through the run and see what happens with those. But they'll both be getting the exact same stat level ups because it's the same seed and everything. But yeah, we're seeing Surly take the death abuse here, trying to. It can take a little while, and especially if your party members interrupt and stop them. But he gets through the fight eventually. We also see Pseudo biting the bullet and going through Twilight Town as well. So it does make sense to get it done somewhat early in the seed, even if you don't find final form. But a lot of the early dips in worlds where there are less chests to pick up than Twilight Town were just to see if they could grab that final form. So neither of them found it, which means that, you know, neither of them gets a massive advantage over the other by coming here. It's all equal grounds. And they have found a blizzard. And Surly actually found a cure as well. So 2 important checks so far in Twilight Town. Surly also getting a blizzard boost ability in the station. And so they have Blizzara and a blizzard boost now. And that is interesting to me because something I didn't mention earlier, because we were talking about something else. At the end of Hollow Bastion, which both runners did, they found a report that Port Royal was a 4. So there are 4 important checks in Port Royal, and that's a world that you think you really have to go to. Maybe not immediately, like you can take your time on it and stuff like that, but if it's a 4, you would imagine there to be a proof there, or at least, you know, a dry form or something that will be very, very useful to you. So I can see both runners pushing that pretty soon, especially with the double blizzard that they now have, and double thunder as well. So if you don't know, in Port Royal, the pirates have an interesting thing about them where they are very weak to magic. So if you hit them with the blizzard, they will freeze and it will do a lot of damage. So I believe with Blizzara and the blizzard boost, and the especially on Pseudo's side with the 23 magic stat right now at level 14, I'm pretty sure he can one-shot the pirates in Port Royal. So pushing that for a 4 important checks is probably something that I could see him doing soon. I'm trying to work out what the hint in Hollow Bastion that Pseudo got that Surly didn't. The report 5, I'm pretty sure that pointed him to Olympus Colosseum. And that is a 6. So Pseudo does have options here. He has Port Royal as a 4, he has OC as a 6. But he's already got the first 2 things there, right? So they're both technically a 4.
They're both end up being 4s in actuality. That makes sense.
Right, yeah. And, you know, with the tools they currently have, I definitely favor Port Royal if I was Pseudo right here. But Surly doesn't have that decision, right? Because he didn't push Hollow Bastion further yet. He didn't hit the second visit up for all those chests. So he doesn't have that knowledge of Olympus Colosseum yet, which could help Pseudo down the line. But I definitely expect Surly to go to Olympus Colosseum. Go to Hollow Bastion second visit at some point during the run.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness this game lets you skip cutscenes, am I right? Wow.
Yeah. And that's not enough for some people, because we floated around the idea of just a complete cutscene skipper. So you just enter a loading zone and then you're just moving through the next visit. Like the cutscenes are automatically skipped, which would be it would be
really
a big
interesting
in each randomizer. Yeah. You know, a lot of people that do randomizers, basically everyone I'd say, would skip all the cutscenes, right?
Sure.
Like this is a very race heavy format, or even if you play casually, like you've seen the cutscenes before.
Yeah.
Most people are skipping them. So an auto skipper for the cutscenes is possible. It's kind of in the works, but there's a lot of stuff going on right now because of the PC release of 2.5. So yeah, people are trying to work on the randomizer for the PC release now.
Makes sense.
This definitely isn't PC. Okay, I was just making sure that this wasn't okay. Yeah, so we have Surly doing what I kind of expected. He has a less magic stat than Pseudo as well, but he's hitting up Port Royal here. The first couple fights you can just death abuse on these pirates. I would imagine he'll try to kill the next pirates to get some experience. because you get a lot of experience from them, 75 per pirate, which can be very helpful at low levels. So yeah, he is actually one-shotting one of the types of pirates, so that's really, really cool, and it's a guarantee that Sudo will be one-shotting them with his higher magic stat. Ooh, okay, Sudo is about to make a very interesting play and go straight back into Twilight Town. I'm not sure how I feel about this personally. He doesn't have Explosion, which would be a very good combat ability to have for this. But he's going to be using Chicken Little and I believe Magnet and Finishing Leap. So we'll see how this goes. Chicken Little does whistle in the enemies, as you're seeing on both screens now, to try and keep them in one place like a magnet. We'll see how this goes. This is going to be a very tricky fight here in the second visit to Twilight Town, with a battle level of around 25. Is when you would go to this world in a casual run. So yeah, Sudo's a little bit underleveled for this. He does have second chance to maybe survive a one-hit move, but yeah, it's interesting. We'll see if he can survive this one. This could be an advantage for him if Twilight Town has some really good stuff. But at the same time, the Port Royal push here from Surly makes complete sense, considering there are 4 important checks, and he just found another glide, which means that his movement is going to be significantly faster than Sudo's, and that can add up when you're going through so many different worlds. It looks like Sudo should be okay here. He's still got the last bit of the fight, but he is doing the reaction command here for a little bit of safety. If the enemies don't break out too much, he might be okay. Okay, this is scary. Okay, alright, so towards the end of the fight there, Goofy parried that last enemy with his shield. He was gunning for Sora, so that could have been a big death. Sadly, the amount of time you lose to a death doesn't impact the donation given, so that would have been a very long death for that $1. So Sudo not taking that one, thankfully for him.
Yeah, I was holding my breath on that one.
Yeah, that was really scary at the end, but yeah, so Twilight Town, he now gets to go through the third visit to Twilight Town. The battle level for this world is around 42, I believe. So you're getting to worlds that like you should not be at this early on in the game, before even doing, you know, Land of Dragons 1.
Right.
Beast Castle, neither of them gone there, so yeah, there are a bunch of chests here though, so it's a good place to go early if you have the tools for it, if you feel confident doing that last fight. We'll see if he does the fight after this, to get into the mansion in Twilight Town. There are a lot of chests in there, but it's kind of risky, I'd say, to be doing that with the low tools that he has. But if he can get through the fight and he does it with no deaths, then it's definitely worth it to get into that mansion and find all the good things that are there. We see Surly right now in Port Royal in this timed fight. So he has to stay alive for a minute, and that can be kind of tough. It can be tough to stay alive for a minute in this fight. The defense is decent, and Surly does have second chance to help him take those hits. Oh wow. Okay, so Sudo has just found in Sunset Down of Twilight Town 3, he has found a report that tells him that Hollow Bastion has 9 important checks.
Oh my goodness.
Which is, it's above average.
Mother load.
Yeah. Hollow Bastion has 61 checks in total. And so the average you're looking at for Hollow Bastion is around about, 6 or 7 maybe important checks. And 9 is a lot. And there are still a lot more to go here. So Sudo, understandably, immediately pushing that. He has Chicken Little for the crowd control in these fights, so he can do the mob fights easier. He's actually opting for Final Form, because he also found that in Sunset Town. I was going to talk about that next. But yeah, so
yeah,
opting
we got a lot of nobodies here to level it up too. I see it leveling up almost immediately.
Yeah, so you hit level 2, and there's another fight you can do on a bunch of dancers, which are one of the most annoying enemies in the game. Before the Demix fight, so he might just do that fight.
I hate them.
Yeah, he might just do that fight to hit Final Form level 3 as well, which would definitely help him out. But I mean, the biggest thing that now opens up is this place here. This is the Cavern of Remembrance, and you might be thinking, why is he here now? Isn't this like a crazy battle level? Yes. The battle level, I don't quote me on this. I know it's high. I'd like to say it's 99, but I'm honestly not sure. But you get one shot by literally everything. They have second chance, so he survived. Okay, well, taking another death for the charity. Love to see it. But yeah, they will survive on 1 HP with the second chance ability, but still, this is a very tough world to get through. But there's a lot of chests here, right? And you want to go to where the most amount of checks are, and that's what Sudo's thinking right now, especially when there are 9 things in Hollow Bastion. As Surly takes a death as well in Port Royal. So we're a little bit of struggle on both sides here. Surly has only found a Thunder so far in Port Royal. We have our first Reflect of the Seed and a Slide Dash. Okay, so Sudo picked up both of those in the Cavern of Remembrance here. Both very good things. The Reflect is absolutely crucial for any randomizer seed, basically. Reflect is so good. It's a defensive option because it stops you from taking hits, and it also does so much damage to basically every enemy. So Reflect is super good to get. The fact that Sudo has that before Surly is a big advantage. So we're going to have to see what happens here. As there was another hint, I believe, that one of them got that I wanted to mention. I'm not sure. Maybe not a hint. But... Oh, right. I wanted to talk about the blue numbers on the tracker. Because that's something that you guys might have seen and just been like, why is it blue? But not. Really
I didn't even notice, but I would love to know why it's blue.
Yeah. So this is gonna take some explaining. So, when you get a hint for a world, a yellow number pops up, and that's what we've seen from the start of the seed. If that number is blue, then that means that the hint for that world was in a world that was hinted. So, when Sudo...
I'm puzzling that in my brain. Continue.
So when Sudo got report 11 in Twilight Town, which pointed to Hollow Bastion, that made Hollow Bastion a yellow 9, and the 2 reports that he found in Hollow Bastion, which pointed to, I believe, Olympus Colosseum and Port Royal. So both of those worlds became blue because the reports were found in Hollow Bastion, and Hollow Bastion is now hinted.
That's really cool. That's like just like an additional layer of information about the chain of hintiness, I guess.
Yes. With just that information, you might be thinking, I mean, what's the point? Like, why is it just colored like blue? What does that change? So for the logic of the randomizer and how it works and how the hint system works, any world that has a proof needs to have a hinted hint. That world needs to be blue on the tracker in order for it to have a proof. So it's very important that you find those blue worlds because they can have a proof in. They're more likely to. And the more you get reports and stuff like that, like if they have 12 reports at the end of the run, then they can definitely push those blue worlds before the yellow ones, because it's very unlikely or less likely that the yellow worlds will still have a proof.
That makes sense.
Kind of thing. Like, there's a lot in the logic, and we may see this play out later, and I can talk more about it and give examples, but
that's really, really cool how that works, and especially how it auto-updates like that. Helps you along the way, not just, oh, what do I have, but giving you even additional information to help narrow down the choices. Yeah, and so that's a thing. We do see now, Sudo, I'd say, has quite a... It's a really interesting seed right now, because we have seen Surly push through Port Royal 1. He did find Valor Form, and we can see an example here of how the first fight in Beast Castle could be done in different ways. Surly has Valor Form, so he's leveling it by doing all the hits on the shadows. Valor Form's requirement for leveling is 1 hit equals 1 experience point. So you do a lot of physical hits on those shadows in that first fight, so he went there to level Valor to 3. He's warping out and then back in, I would assume. Yeah, so he warped out just to save his drive. When you leave through a save point in a drive form, you get all of your drive back. So you can see in the bottom right, he's got 5 bars left. It's something that used a lot in the speedrun.
and he's utilizing that there to keep his drive gauge up. But yeah, both runners going to Beast Castle. It's another world that a lot of people will push early. You'll notice, there is a 4 Port Royal. There is 4 more things in Olympus Colosseum right now on Sudo's side. He has that info, but he's still pushing a Beast Castle even though he doesn't know what's here yet. Because there are just so many chests in this world to pick up that it's just great. Like, the amount of tools that you could find here to help you in Port Royal or to help you in Olympus Colosseum could really change things. So that's why he's going for Beast Castle first, and it's interesting to see Surly taking a slightly different approach, of course, because he did do some of that Port Royal world and found the Thunder and Valor form before coming to Beast Castle. So again, a slight difference in routing between the two and the way their minds work when they go through to these worlds. Okay, so while going through Beast Castle here, we need to keep our eye out to see if there's any tools that would help them out in these worlds to decide where they go to next. Because of course, Port Royal is the best play for both of them still. There's still 2 more things in Port Royal if you're Surly, and 4 if you're Sudo, so they seem like good pushes to me for both of them still. The second visit to Port Royal is relatively easy with Blazara and a good magic stat. It is nice to have Stitch. Stitch is a summon in the game that basically he can lick you and replenish your MP whenever he feels like it, basically. So you hope he does that over and over again, and you can just constantly spam Blazaras during that Port Royal 2 visit. So that's something that we could see Surly doing at some point, but he would like Stitch before going there, or maybe a slightly higher magic stat. But there could be different tools here that send them different directions. One of the biggest things is still the simulated Twilight Town being a 3. You guys may be questioning like why they haven't gone there yet, because that was the very first report they found in the first 3 chests of the game. That is sped up considerably by getting the drive form limit form. So there's this, it's not a requirement to go there at all, but it will save them around 1 to 2 minutes during the world if they can find limit form before going there. Because you can actually use limit form while in Roxas section. So you can be walking around as Roxas and you can go limit form, and then Sora just appears. And it's so fast on the struggle fights that you have to do in the tutorial section to use limit form. So that's something that they're both looking for before going there. One of them might decide to just go there. I feel like it's a similar thing to pushing the 100 Acre Wood pages, which both of them have done, so we may see that happen at some point, but if a limit form is around somewhere, then that's what both runners will want. Also, the fact that they are both like completely tied again right now is amazing, that they're both like the exact same place.
This is so cool to see, like, such divergent routing choices, but they're literally in the same room. This is pretty amazing. I love it.
Yeah. And the tracker, aesthetically pleasing blizzards, we can see on the tracker on the right side now, in a line.
I
so
love
that's
it.
good. Yeah. Another magnet. Okay, so Sudo and Surly are getting some really good tools here. That second magnet is going to help out in the later fights in Hollow Bastion, which of course only Sudo knows that there are, 9 things in Hollow Bastion right now. Where was that again? That was Twilight Town. That's kind of a late hint. Not a lot of people will push that, like go later in Twilight Town if they don't have a hint for Twilight Town. So we could see Sudo having this advantage of Hollow Bastion for quite some time, and we're going to have to see how that plays out in the rest of the seed. Okay, another report. Oh, this report hints Pride Lands. And it hits Pride Lands as a 4, so Pride Lands is finished. We're not going to see Scar or Ground Shaker this seed. I do apologize to any Scar and Ground Shaker apologists out there, but we won't be seeing that.
Scar is my favorite Disney villain of all time, so I am a little bit sad, but it's okay.
That's okay, but is it your favorite boss fight in Kingdom Hearts 2?
I don't think so. I think a lot of my favorite fights are in The World That Never Was, which we're going to get to see.
Yeah, we will definitely be seeing those. Probably later rather than sooner at this point, because one of the big things that runners will do is if they find a second proof that is when they will do the world that never was. Like if they feel comfortable, if they have the tools and stuff like that, because it's a game of chance really. They go, okay, the chance of all 3 proofs being in the world that never was, pretty unlikely. The chance of 2 being in the world that never was, still quite unlikely. But the chance of 1 being in the world that never was is like that's a risk, right? So that's something that like they'll want to clear as soon as they can once they find that second proof. And I believe we'll see that in the gameplay of both runners when that second proof is found. Okay, so a couple things. Beast Castle was absolutely stacked with important checks.
Yeah, wow.
This is an example of where, Sudo could have pushed Port Royal for that 4, but instead he went to Beast Castle, he got himself another 2 magnets and Blizzaga, which is going to speed up the start of Port Royal. You can already see he one-shot every enemy with 1 Blizzaga in that first fight there, so he's going to save time on Surly's Port Royal here because of that decision to do Beast Castle before that hinted Port Royal. So it's another like crazy little nuance of the rando and how little advantages and disadvantages can build up. So that's super cool. Limit form has been found. Okay, so Surly went to Land of Dragons. He doesn't have a hint for it, but he figured that was his best place to go right now, unhinted. As I think, yeah, the only hints he has is the latter half of Port Royal, the second visit, which has quite a few tough boss fights, like the Grim Reaper 1 and 2 boss fights. So he's opting to save that for a little bit later and pushing an unhinted world, and he got Limit 4, which makes Simulated Twilight Town a lot better to go to. And with 3 important checks there, I could seriously see Surly pushing that soon. So we'll have to keep our eye out on that. Once he pushes a good bit through Land of Dragons, I could definitely see him going to Simulated Twilight Town and just getting what's there. I actually want to count up the hints on Sudo's side here. He's got 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got 8 hints out of 13. So at this stage of the run, you're probably thinking to yourself, I should be checking out these worlds that have hints, especially the blue ones, because they're hinted hints and they're more likely to have the proof. So he goes straight for Port Royal. This makes sense. And then once he clears out Port Royal, I would imagine he does the second visit to Port Royal as well, at least to some extent, to grab the checks there, because there are a lot of chests in the second visit as well, because you go to new areas that, some second visits you don't go to any new areas. Like Beast Castle, for example, you can grab every single chest in the very first visit, which they've already done. But Port Royal is an exception to that, where they might push the second visit, and I could see Sudo do that for sure. But then after that, the 4 Olympus Colosseum is looking really good for Sudo. And 4 more things in Hollow Bastion too. So there are 3 worlds for him right now that have a lot of stuff in, and he just has he has way more knowledge based on those hints than Surly does right now, because Surly only has 6 instead of 8 because of the just small route choices that they've made that have been different between the 2 of them. I'm going to check in with Surly now to ask him about that limit form and see like how he feels about what his next best push is. See if he's considering Simulated Twilight Town at all, because
That's a
that could
great
be
idea.
I'm not going to tell him obviously that Sudo doesn't have it, but just see what his thoughts are on that, and whether he's the type of person who likes to go to Simulated Twilight Town, or if he's going to save that for later. So I'm gonna drag in Surly real quick. Yo, Surly. Yo, what's up, dude? I always feel like I'm surprising you every time I unmute you. It's like, oh my, what's going on?
What's happening?
Hello, my friend. The seed has progressed. We've seen some cool new things. Can you talk us through this Land of Dragons play and what you found here and stuff like that?
Well, after getting Magnega out of Beast Castle there, it's kind of like, well, I know Sudo really doesn't like Land of Dragons.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of looking for a limit form, which handily I found.
Right.
So
yeah.
now we're gonna head into STT after this. But
Okay. Right. That was
kind of a
Sorry.
check to check.
Mhm. Yeah. So I was gonna ask you about that, like whether it's something that you were gonna do, or whether you were the type of person to leave Simulator Twilight Town for a long time. But yeah, no,
3 is
you're-
enough. I've got my limit form. I've got my quick run. Like it's free. So we're gonna go do it.
Okay, cool. That'll be really cool to see. In terms of the seed in general, like the hints and stuff like that, like, yeah, how are you feeling about the hints that you currently have?
We're a little light on information. Like, the self-hinted levels was kind of a kick in the face.
Yeah, that was a trolly one.
But otherwise, you know, we're not lacking checks. We're not lacking abilities. So, feeling all right.
All right, cool, dude. Well, good luck. We'll check on you with you a little bit later, maybe to talk about what you found in Simulated Twilight Town, whether it was worth it, stuff like that. But good luck, dude.
Sounds good.
Okay, that was really interesting to hear Surly say that he was starved for information right now. And we can just look to the left side of our screen and see Sudo with 4 things in Olympus Colosseum, 4 things in Hollow Bastion, like all of this info that Surly doesn't have. That is 8 checks that Sudo knows the location of, that Surly doesn't, which is huge, especially when there's, for Sudo, he has 28 out of 50. So there's only 22 remaining important checks, and Sudo knows where 8 of those are, plus the 3 in STT, so that's 11, 1 in Halloween Town, that's 12, 1 in Disney Castle is 13, and 3 more in Port Royal, that's 16. So Sudo knows where 28 plus 16 checks are in this run. He's only missing 6, which is a crazy difference to what
That's
we're seeing.
huge, absolutely.
Yeah, that's big, because at that point you basically don't want to push anything that doesn't have a hint, right? Like you just want to clear the hints because they're there. You know that proofs can be there, so that is super interesting. And one of the biggest interesting things that I heard him say was that Sudo does not like Land of Dragons. And that means he is not going to find that limit form in Land of Dragons, and then STT is going to be a much worse play for him. He's not going to want to go there. So if there's a really good thing that Surly finds in Simulated Twilight Town, even a proof, then that's, again, massive advantage on the side of Surly, even though Sudo has all that information. So it's all going to come down to what STT has, like if it has a proof or a hint that gives really, really good information. Like STT could have a bunch of amazing stuff here.
So true.
We're yet to see it because Surly is dodge rolling around. But if you have never seen this world in a randomizer race before, you're going to want to pay attention to the movement that that Surly exhibits throughout this world. The right side of your screen, I believe. It's interesting. That's one way to put it. You guys will see it when it happens. But yeah, so the 3 STT push, Sudo is going straight back into Port Royal after the Barbosa fight to do the second visit, like I expected. His magic stat right now is 33 and he has Blizzaga, so he has good enough tools to do a good chunk of this visit and get all the chests and try and find the last 2 important checks in Port Royal. And this is an advantage that he'll have over Surly. Again, there are so many different worlds that Sudo has pushed further than Surly, or Surly's pushed further than Sudo. But right now, I think STT is the biggest difference right now. This could be huge depending on what's here. And 29 checks by this point in the run is by no means little. Like, the fact that they've cleared this much in this little time is very impressive. They're both very good runners, and there's only 21 important checks left for Sudo, so that's very good clearing skills. If he pushes through Port Royal, he tries to clear OC, Olympus Colosseum, and grab the 4 remaining things there, and then pushes Hollow Bastion further, then he's going to have a very, very high amount of checks pretty quick into the run, like an hour and a half in or something like that, which is crazy. Okay, so we saw Grim Reaper 1, like, the battle level for this world it's probably around 38, 37, something along those lines, but Sudo, a level 23, because of the randomized stat upgrades, he has got a bunch of magic ups compared to usual. Like, you can see his magic is way higher than his defense right now, for example. Okay, aerial dodge, Trinity limit, and a fire in Port Royal 2 here for Pseudo. So the aerial dodge is nice, it's slightly faster movement. Trinity limit is a great ability for the World That Never Was fights. So it will help him out on Luxord, it will help him out on the first Xemnas fight to clear those faster, so he'll be very happy to find that. And also Flash Step. I'm pretty sure Slide Dash was around somewhere, I can't remember exactly where, but yeah, having Flash Step as well is a super good quality of life ability. Oh, and Pseudo did not find the last important check yet. And this is the point where you leave Port Royal and you go, okay, Grim Reaper 2, one of the hardest boss fights in the game, happens to have one of my last important checks here.
Oh no.
Yeah, so Pseudo's going, damn, I really hope I don't have to do that later, but if I do have to do that later, I would like a Master Form, and maybe once more or something like that, so he has more chance of
Having a little
surviving.
bit of security for sure.
Yeah, but definitely the Master Form. Master Form is super good on Grim Reaper 2. If you've never seen the speedrun boss fight, it's pretty crazy, like how good Master Form can be on that fight. Oh, super interesting thing here. We just saw Surly attempt to use a limit form limit at the start of this fight, at the start of Twilight Town. If you can get that in very, very quickly and then revert, then you'll be fine. You can do some extra damage. Unfortunately, he messed it up a little bit there. He didn't wait long enough. In the limit, you get like 3 different commands that pop up, and the longer you wait, the better the ability is. Unfortunately, he missed the 3rd one, so he didn't do any damage to Twilight Thorn at the start of the fight. But there's actually a soft lock that can happen if you are in limit form when Twilight Thorn grabs you. This is good. Okay. So we actually saw that was Surly. He was in limit form, and Twilight Thorn was about to grab him. So he kind of panicked. He went to do a limit and then just immediately did the first out of the 3 limit commands. He's just like, I do not want to crash here. So that's an interesting thing that can happen on Twilight Thorn. I'm pretty sure they've save stated. Of course, we're on emulator, so we can save state and we can load it. If something goes wrong, if there is a crash, then that'll be fine. That won't be a problem. But yeah, interesting to see Surly in simulated Twilight Town and Pseudo in regular Twilight Town. So maybe they'll cross paths in the mansion later on. We'll see. The one thing found so far in simulated Twilight Town was unfortunately not that useful. It was a hint for Agrabah being a 2. So that's immediately blue because the hint was found in STT, which is already hinted. And now we know that Agrabah has one more important check in there. Pseudo is not going to know that unless he comes to STT. So that could be a big difference. Like if that Agrabah thing is a proof or something like that, then Pseudo's probably not getting that for a very long time, considering he doesn't have the limit form from Land of Dragons. So it's really cool to see the 2 runners having such different ideas about their route and what they want to do next. Trying to think about what I would ask Pseudo if I brought him in and talked to him. Oh, maybe about Port Royal 2. See how he feels about Grim Reaper 2 having one more thing in that world and what he thinks about his next push. So I'm gonna grab in Pseudo and talk to him real quick. Hey, Pseudo.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, man, it's going well. You had a very nice Twilight Town 3 push that gave you some pretty interesting tools. How did you feel about that unhinted push into Twilight Town?
I'm really happy with it. I feel like that set me up much better now because like I still don't have a single proof, but now I'm gonna be able to kind of at least kind of make some plays and go from there. And now I have like fire and things like that. We already have an experience boost, so the game just got a heck of a lot easier for me.
Yeah, that's really cool to see. One of the things I wanted to ask you is you have 2 worlds now that are both have 4 things remaining in them. So you have Hollow Bastion with 4 things remaining and Olympus Colosseum. What are your thoughts on like which one is better to do? Like what you're thinking of doing next?
I am thinking about going to OC next, and because it should be faster to do the early part. The one thing about Hollow Bastion and why I'm kind of putting that one off is there's a thing we like to do called core skip, and I am close to being able to do it, but I can't do it yet. So a lot of the checks are in core, so I'm kind of waiting on that to make the play for that.
Right.
But I'll definitely go for that probably whenever I can unlock it.
Okay, I haven't talked about core skip yet, so we'll see when that comes up. But are you confident doing it without master form? Is there things that you?
Yeah, I would need one more quick run because I think I could make it right now, but I'd much prefer to just have one more quick one just to make sure. We're save state allowing it, but I'd rather not just kind of cheese it. I know I can make it with what I currently have, but I'd rather go into it with a set that, I don't have to cheese it with save states. I'd rather know I can do it.
Right. Okay, that sounds good. Well, good luck on the rest. You seem to be doing pretty well. You're moving now. We've got some of those deaths out the way early, and now we're
yeah.
doing a bit better. So good luck on the rest, dude.
Thank you.
Okay, so hearing from Sudo there, the fact that the TT3 posted Twilight Town 3, giving him all those juicy things, the Hollow Bastion hint, the final form. He found a fire as well, so he now has fire and experience boost, and saying that leveling is a good play right now. And he did actually hit level 31, so his stats, as you can see, are just a lot higher in general than Surly's right now. So that's going to speed up a lot of worlds. If Surly eventually finds the hint to Olympus Colosseum, because he pushes into Hollow Bastion 2, finds that report, then it's probably going to be slower than the one that Sudo's going to be having, because Sudo leveled up so much first.
In terms of getting into something like this, are there modes that would allow a beginner to kind of have a little bit more help and make it easier, or you kind of just got to throw yourself in and try it for 6 hours,
In terms of races,
In
right?
terms
And,
of just playing the randomizer, how would you learn something like this if you're interested?
right. Well, I mean, there's very helpful Discord that you can find, just searching on Twitter. I'm sure you'll be able to find the 2FM Rando Discord we have. I think we have about 6,500 people in that Discord now for the randomizer, so it's become incredibly popular. But the idea is with the randomizer, it's very customizable. So when you generate the seed that's randomized and everything like that, as Sally go in a different direction to get to the woods, which is interesting. I've never seen that before, taking this route, but it's fine. It barely loses any time, but it's funny. Yeah, so the randomizer, you can change as much as you want about it, right? You can turn on data fights, you can turn off data fights, you can have ×5 experience modifier, so you level up very quickly. And of course, you can just play on beginner mode, right? There's nothing stopping you from doing that. You can play on whatever difficulty you want. So yeah, if you're a beginner to the game and you just want to learn the randomizer, then you can play on beginner and stuff like that, and have all these experience modifiers really high. So it's very beginner friendly, and then you can sort of work your way up to where you're confident doing modes on critical and stuff like that, and doing races versus other people. But there are beginner races too, and there's definitely a bunch of people that are happy to do races. So I'm actually going to quickly check in with Surly right now, because he just found his 2 remaining important checks in Simulated Twilight Town, and they were both cures, which are basically useless for a runner at this level. You die in 1 or 2 hits anyway, so cured, really not great. So I'm going to see how he feels about this play now that he's gone to Simulated Twilight Town. Hey, Surly.
Hey.
Do you want to talk about what you found?
How disappointing that is.
So you found 2 cures.
Yeah.
And I believe the hint for Agrabah.
Yes.
Having 1 more important check. So that was a Simulated Twilight Town, if I've ever seen one.
It certainly was.
Yeah. You better hope what you said is right about Pseudo not liking LOD now, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
That is the hope here.
Okay, so what's your plan now? Oh, I see what you're doing. Would you like to tell the class about what you're doing now?
I'm going to attempt to force final form, since I don't have a lot of hints on the board right now, and I really want some final form, so I can go and level it in either Twilight Town or the couple of fights in Hollow Bastion 2.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I just really wanted to get your initial reaction to finding the last 2 cures in Simulated Twilight Town. We always joke about it. We always joke about finding like 2 cures and a genie in ST or something like that, like things no one uses. But also the fact that we got a report of like barely any info as well was just the icing on the cake.
It's fantastic. Thank you, Salad, for rolling this wonderful STT seed.
Oh, you're much welcome. Seriously, Sally. Good luck on forcing final form.
Thank you.
We'll see how long that takes you. It can take anywhere between like 2 and 4 minutes, of course.
Yep.
So we'll see how lucky you get.
All right.
All right, that was fun. I just had to get his gut reaction.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely.
Disappointment in this man's voice of going to SDT and getting nothing, especially when he knows that Pseudo is unlikely to be going there this seed, is quite heartbreaking in a way.
Yeah, I think it was like a good, a good idea and good instinct. You just never know, and that's kind of how randomizers are gonna go.
Right. I will quickly talk about how forcing final works. So he's going to be going in drive form over and over again. He does actually get anti-form on that attempt there. And every time that you go into anti-form, there is a chance that it is final form instead. That's like how the base game works and everything like that. Usually you have to beat Roxas in order for this to be a thing, like in order for you to get final form in the vanilla games. But in the randomizer, you can do it whenever you'd like. Anytime you go into drive form and it becomes anti-form, there's actually a chance that it'll be final form instead. Yeah, so that's kind of how it works. So he's going to be going into drive forms over and over again. Every time you go into drive 5 times, you get, so when you're on 5 anti-points, you can have a chance to trigger final form, basically. So that's the kind of idea that they're going for. Just going drives over and over again, basically, until they get final form. But there's a lot to talk about on Pseudo's screen here. So Pseudo pushed through Olympus Colosseum. He found a reflect, which is great. You'll love to see a reflect. He saw the hint for Beast Castle being a 5, so he knows that Beast Castle is done. He also found the hint, I'm not quite sure yet. I think maybe Space Paranoid's hint. Yeah, okay, so Space Paranoid's in the bottom left of his tracker. You can see that's a 2 now. So he found a couple hints, so he now has a lot more hints than Surly does. He's on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I believe 10 out of 13 hints. Which is, that's pretty phenomenal. Like, for an hour and 18 minutes into the game, he has a lot of information. The locations of the proofs, like, most likely, like, statistically, he has those locations right now with the hints that he's got. But, there's still 3 more hints out there. They could point him towards one, so it's definitely not over yet, but this is a massive advantage that the Pseudo has. And, of course, finding final form without having to force it as well is another big plus on Pseudo's side. But another thing that we need to talk about is core skip. And Pseudo mentioned this when I last talked to him. He was looking for Master Form. Well, he said he'd be able to do it without Master Form if he found another quick run, but Master Form is a lot easier. And what core skip is, it's a Cavern of Remembrance skip. The idea is, these fights are very difficult to do. If you've played this game, you know that these fights in core are tough to get through. But there's a lot of chests in here, right? There's a lot of chests in here. So what Pseudo is going to be doing here is he's going to be doing the setup here to try and get a ledge grab on this wall. This was found about 5 years ago by someone by the name of Acer. He also streams Rando. He found this little clip onto this wall. So he's going to try and get this ledge grab. He's not getting the setup quite right. Okay, he managed to get it. If I have a bit of a delay, I apologize. But he's going to prep his Master Form. He's going to jump, area dodge, reflect, Master Form. Okay. Alright, gets the ledge grab. So he's out of bounds. And now he's going to make his way over to that other side. that loading zone over there. He just manages to get it with the
That's
ledge
so
grab.
cool!
It was so close.
Wow.
So basically, the fight was to the right of this little hallway. So instead of triggering the fight and doing that, which is very difficult to do, you can skip it by just going straight to this loading zone, turning these cogs to set up the rest of core. And now normally you have to go back through the fight that you just did to move on to get through the rest of the Cavern of Remembrance. But you can do this, where you aerial dodge up this wall, you just spam fires over and over again in Master Form to gain height, and then right at the top you revert, jump, and then aerial dodge.
Wow,
Grab
that's
the ledge.
amazing.
And that skips having to do that first fight, and now he can just go through the rest of core and grab every chest.
That's
It's
pretty amazing.
amazing. It's such a fun core skip. Yeah, so it's one of the bread and butters of rando now, of competitive rando. Like, you have to know how to do this if you want to do well, because it's just so powerful
Sure,
being able to get through these chests without having to do the fights. So it's such a cool thing. I'm glad that they were able to show it off this
I
run.
know, absolutely. That was so cool.
Yeah. Here's a little thing. So you have to get up here, and then he just glided through the second fight. The second fight doesn't spawn. In this room, no enemies spawn, so you can just glide through the entire room with no enemies. And one of the most annoying parts of this room, the steam. The steam doesn't spawn either. You just glide through all of these things, and if you've played the game before, you know how annoying this room is. And that's what Core Skip can give you. It skips all of this. It's amazing. So this is like one of the coolest things in the randomizer, and yeah, again, very glad that Sudo was able to pull it off for the viewers. It's very cool that we were able to get this. Unfortunately, it hasn't paid off for him. He hasn't found a single important check in core so far. He found Drive Converter, which is a way that can help him level up his Master Form. So I would imagine he goes straight to Twilight Town after this, and levels up Master Form. There's an enemy there, the Gambler. If you do the mini game, it gives you a bunch of money, but Drive Converter turns that money into Drive Orbs, and Master Form levels up by collecting Drive Orbs. So he's going to do the mini game over and over again, I would imagine. That's his next play, and then and get Master Form leveled up. But yeah, Core Skip not actually giving him anything apart from that Drive Converter, but it looked cool.
It looked cool.
Yeah, so we'll give Sudo props for that one. We saw Surly take a death in Space Paranoids. I'm not sure if he was trying to level grind at all or anything like that. He doesn't seem to be trying to experience boost or anything like that. He's just dealing some damage here on the enemies and trying to get some easy experience. He doesn't even have the hint for Space Paranoids, so this is so one-sided right now. Sudo has so many hints. He's missing 3 hints. One of them is that Agrabah has one more thing. That was in Simulated Twilight Town. Surly has that, but Sudo does not. So it's just really, really interesting here, the difference in hints, and Sudo has such a crazy advantage based on that that I'm seeing right now. Yeah,
Time to read a couple donations here.
Yeah, of course, go for it.
All right, wonderful. Thank you to everyone who has been donating so far. We're creeping towards our goal of $10,000. So we have $50 from Ielise that says, Ielise here. I love violas. Also, congrats to all on a great event this year. Thank you so much. And we have $50 from Orcus Oraic that has no comment, but thank you for your generosity. And we have $49 from Anonymous that says, row, 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 row. I don't know what that means, but I loved it. Thank you for your enthusiasm. So yeah, now we are at $9,614. Our goal is $10,000 by the end of this run. We've about 2 more hours-ish. We can make this happen.
Yeah, wow, that's really, really close. I'm pretty sure that we can get that. We've still got a good chunk of this run left. Like, I would estimate around an hour based on how the runners are doing so far. Like, not finding... We don't know the location of 2 of the proofs right now. Like, they could be in very difficult locations.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've completely forgot to mention this basically the whole time, but because the seed is customizable and everything like that, of course, we've come up with like a standardized rule set that we think works, standardized settings that most people run with in races. So what we're going to be seeing here for these runners in this seed is Sephiroth is not on, so there'll be no Sephiroth this seed. Lingering Will or Terra, they don't have to do that, because that can be an incredibly tricky fight, especially on critical mode, and we don't want the runners to die there forever, especially for like marathon safe run. Data fights are not on for a similar reason, and the hardest things I think that are on are the absent silhouette fights. So we still have those, Luxeus, Vexen, Larxene, and the other two. So we still have the 5 AS fights that the runners might have to do later on. If there's a proof there, they're on. You have to complete the second visit of a world. So Luxeus is sitting in Agrabah 2, so you have to beat Jafar first before you can do AS Luxeus. Zexion is in Olympus Colosseum, and you need to beat Hades first, so you do have to push very late into a world before you do an AS. We'll see if that's something that comes up in this seed. Right now, with the amount of checks that Pseudo knows the location of, I feel like it's kind of unlikely to see an absent silhouette at this point, but we do know that there's one more thing in Agrabah, and Surly could honestly maybe push this until he fights absent silhouette Luxeus. That would be very unlikely, I think, but yeah, the last important check in Agrabah could be as late as that fight, so that would be very unfortunate if Surly doesn't get it until then. Yeah, so in terms of the proofs and everything, only having one between 2 runners in a race is pretty unlikely, like an hour and 27 minutes in. You definitely expect to see maybe, 2 or 3 by this point, so it's definitely going to be a deep seed with some interesting proof locations. Okay, Pseudo taking a death there. We're getting money to the charity, that's all good. It kind of looks like at this point that Surly's in a position to lose the race because he doesn't have all the hints that Pseudo has, but Pseudo's also died more. So Surly might have to lose the race and also give more to charity, but hey, it's all for a good cause, so yeah, I'm sure he's perfectly happy with that. It'll be super hype to see the runners like die a bunch and then hit the 10,000 donation goal by the end of the run. That would be super fun to see. Yeah, we've got second try here on the Demyx fight for Pseudo. Trinity Limit on these clones is such an effective way to deal with the opening of this fight. And then with Final Form Fires, he should be able to take out Demyx pretty easily. Just on the last run, he got a little bit unlucky with his Final Form fire usage. Like, he didn't time the fires correctly or something like that, but he should be able to get it pretty soon here without problem. As we see Surly push even further into Agrabah here, he's doing the Twin Lords fight in Agrabah 1. He's on very low health here. We're going to have to see how the end of this fight goes. So, risky times for both runners, but we do see Pseudo getting through the Demyx fight, and Surly should be fine here on Twin Lords. There we go. Okay. So they've both got through it. No deaths on the side of Surly. Surly has died a fair few times less than Pseudo thus far, so he's definitely playing better in terms of the fights, but Pseudo's route has been a lot better. Ooh, okay. Alright, so Torn Pages in Agrabah. That is the hint that was in STT. So that's a page that I really don't think that Pseudo is going to get. Oh wow, there's so much to talk about. Okay, so Pseudo just went back to take damage and then went into Auto Wisdom so that he could level up Wisdom form in this fight and get some checks from Wisdom levels. This is one of the best places to level Wisdom, and the brain on this guy to go back to take damage so that he could auto Wisdom for this fight is crazy. And it's so good as well because Wisdom form could be in a very tough location later on in the seed. It could be like anywhere at this point. It could be on Larxene, like the AS fight. So getting level 5 Wisdom form here was such a good idea for Pseudo. Like that's a really, really good play.
I love Wisdom form. Wisdom form is by far my favorite drive form. I think it just is so fun to play.
Yeah, and I believe it's the only form that they don't have right now that they haven't found, which is unfortunate. But yeah, Pseudo showing some usage out of it and hitting level 5 Wisdom form. That was the highest that he could hit. In terms of drive level ups, you can only hit the level of the amount of drives you have plus 2. So if you only have 1 drive form, you can only get it to level 3. Right now, Pseudo has Valor form, Final form, and Master form. So that's 3 forms, which means he can only hit level 5 with his drive forms. So he went Auto Wisdom, hit level 5 Wisdom. It's a very clean fight. Like he's got level 5 Wisdom and cleared that fight first try, which is very, very good. We're gonna see Kanga's house here on Surly's side. I believe he has 4 torn pages now. So does he? There's 2 in Pride Lands. Yeah, 1 in Disney Castle, 1 in Agrabah. So he has 4 torn pages, which means he's going to go to Spooky Cave now, which is something that Pseudo hasn't been able to do. He doesn't have that 4th page. So hey, we'll see what's in Spooky Cave in 100 Acre Wood. There could be something good. Pseudo has finished up Core Skip and grabbed all those chests before this 1k Heartless fight, and he still hasn't found another important check in Hollow Bastion in a very long time. So these are kind of deep. Sephiroth is off, so Sephiroth definitely won't have one of those remaining important checks. But one of the interesting things about Core Skip is that he did not need you cannot collect the last chest in Core if you do the skip. There is an invisible wall there that only disappears after you beat the 2nd fight in Core. Like this game is programmed ridiculously well for the most part. So they even like predicted Core Skip being a thing and put an invisible wall there to punish people, I guess, so you couldn't progress any further. So that's a thing. There could be an important check on that very last chest, which would be absolutely crazy. Like Pseudo might actually do that at some point during this run. He might go back and do the fights just for 1 chest, which is a massive time loss if there's nothing there. Speaking of massive time loss if there's nothing there, Surly just grabbed every single chest in Spooky Cave and he didn't get anything. So that's disappointing that the STT into the Agrabah torn page into Spooky Cave didn't give him anything yet. So it's very unfortunate. He's actually going to be hitting Hollow Bastion 2 now. So this is an hour and 33 minutes into the run. You would expect people to be pushing Hollow Bastion 2 this visit very early, like in the first 20 minutes of a run. So the fact he hasn't gone here yet, I mean, it's bad for him because he does not have that Olympus Colosseum hint that was here. And OC had so many good things, like Reflect, Master Form for Core Skip, 2 different reports. So Surly's been missing out on this the entire run, and he's about to grab the OC hint, and then I would assume he goes straight into that world. He goes straight into Olympus Colosseum and finds all that good stuff. But Pseudo already has all that good stuff, right? So he's not going to be gaining an advantage here at all by grabbing that stuff. He's just catching up on things that Pseudo has already done. So again, I can't stress it enough how far ahead Pseudo is right now. As he finishes off 1k, he gets Stitch. Okay, the Ukulele Charm is Stitch, so he has that summon now, and that's 6 out of 9 important checks. He gets a report that tells him the world that never was is done, and he gets a proof. Oh, that's insane.
Here we go, wow.
What a Hollow Bastion. So 1k had 3 things on it. Core Skip had nothing. Core Skip had 0 things, which is a crazy different
shocking. Yeah.
balance. Yeah, you would have expected it to be slightly different to that, but well, I mean, Pseudo now has all the hint advantage. He has 38 out of 50 important checks right now to Surly's 31, and he has that proof. I know that Surly has the advantage of the Timeless River proof, but boy, it's not looking good for Surly right now. He's gonna have to make some sort of big comeback. And of course, he doesn't know how Pseudo's doing, right? Like, he doesn't know what he has right now, how far he's behind. So it's a very interesting makeup of the race so far. But Pseudo, with that proof, he's got to be feeling good. I'm gonna check in, see what he feels about that proof, about the seed in general, like what's his next play. But one of the big things there was the World That Never Was hint, because that tells him he doesn't have to rush Xigbar. He doesn't have to do those fights when he feels like maybe slightly uncomfortable doing them, because he knows that a proof can't be there. The 3rd proof cannot be in the World That Never Was, because he's already found the 2 things there. So that's a big relief for a runner when you find that hint. But I'm gonna check in on Pseudo quickly, see how he feels about that proof and what his next plans are. as he's hitting Simulated Twilight Town without limit form, so we get to talk to him about that decision, but we know from watching both perspectives, there's nothing there. So we're going to talk to him and see how he feels about that second proof location. Oh, sorry, his first proof. Okay, I'm glad I remembered that before unmuting him and talking to him, and see what he thinks about the seed at this point. Hey, Sudo, what's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm just checking in. You have found your first proof of the run.
I have, and it was in a pretty deep world, so I'm feeling okay.
Yeah, that 1K, having a Stitch report for the world that never was, which I'm sure was good for you to see, and the proof as well. Pretty amazing 1K, and the stark contrast between that and Core Skip, which was crazy that there was nothing in Core Skip.
Yeah, I was so surprised. So there's just a side thing. We don't have Sephiroth on just because of Marathon. It can be a little hard. So something is either in the final chest of core or on the proof of peace mushroom checks, which is more likely. But
yeah, right. So when you get the when you do get the proof of peace, you can go and talk to the mushrooms in Hollow Bastion, which are in the room where 1K is fought in by the Crystal Fissure, and you can get 2 checks from that, right? So there's 2 checks there. There's 1 check in the last chest of core, so it's more likely to be on the mushrooms, that last important check in Hollow Bastion, but could be that last chest of core. So that could be interesting development later on in the seed. But can you talk to us about your decision of what you're doing right now?
Yeah, so we've had this proof from the this hint from the very beginning that STT has 3 important checks. So it's been in the back of my mind that I want to come here at some point, but we've just had a lot of, since ever this was a pretty good play, we've just had better plays. So now this is actually my most hinted world, and I've wanted to come here for a while. We have the movement for it, and I have a few draws. The one thing we're missing that I wish I had was limit form, but I'm not the kind of person who waits this world until we have limit form. So I just want to get it done, because knowing Surly too, this is a world he'll push because he knows that people like to push it off. So I don't want to lose to this.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, thanks for talking to us. I'm glad you got that first proof, and good luck finding the rest, dude. It could be a jungle out there. We've got a lot of things left, possibly. All right.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so he doesn't know, but Simulated Twilight Town is not the place, sadly.
This is heartbreaking. But it makes sense, you know, like if you just don't have the information, why wouldn't you come here? But
yeah, it is his best play right now. There are 3 things here, and he is only missing 12 important checks. So a quarter of the remaining important checks are here, and he will be able to grab all of them in this one visit. Like, there's no hard boss that he has to fight or anything like that. It's just slow. So by the end of this world, he is going to have 41 out of 50 important checks. And the only hinted worlds he has left, there's the one more in Disney Castle, Timeless River, which is the proof. We know that. Surly picked it up earlier. So I have to imagine he goes to Timeless River and grabs that. So he will be getting that second proof, I would imagine, pretty soon. We still have no idea where
the heck is the last one? Yeah.
So even if we combine the trackers right now, I still don't really know.
Where would you think? Like, what are your instincts?
My instincts right now, I mean, the 2 space paranoids looks good, like 2 things being there. So if we did match the trackers, I think the only thing that Surly has that Sudo doesn't have would be the pages from Agrabah, the proof in Disney Castle, and the limit form in Land of Dragons. Mm-hmm. I think that's like the only difference. So if we add those 3 checks onto Sudo's, we get 42. He's going to find the 2 cures in STT, so that's 44 out of 50. With those 6 remaining checks, we have 1 in Port Royal, 2 in Space Paranoids, and 1 in Halloween Town. But Halloween Town is still yellow. The Halloween Town hint was in 100 Acre Wood, Report 13, and there hasn't been a hint for 100 Acre Wood yet. So Halloween Town is way less likely than both Space Paranoids and Port Royal. So I'd say Space Paranoids or the last boss fight in Port Royal, that Grim
Makes
Reaper,
sense. Yeah.
definitely the most likely. Space Paranoids has like a 1 in 3 chance at this point of one of those 2 important checks being the last proof.
Yeah, if you have a chance of getting 2 there, it seems like it might be the move.
Yeah, definitely. And especially with Sudo only having 1 right now. Going to Space Paranoids sounds like a real possible option for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Surly's making his way through Olympus Colosseum. That makes sense. I was actually going to talk to him about him getting the hint from Hollow Bastion and how he feels about getting the hint and pushing Hollow Bastion to, later than the average player might, stuff like that. Try not to give too much away about like anything Sudo's done, of course, but just seeing his general ideas about finding that hint that OC was absolutely stacked. Yo, Surly.
Yo.
What's up, dude? I thought I'd just check in on you after the Hollow Bastion 2 push and finding the hint for OC. So how are you feeling about that?
Not fantastic. I know Sudo likes to push that, but if I get a couple fires out of it and a proof, it'll be worth it.
Yeah, right. So I mean, yeah, Hollow Bastion 2, that's a world that you would expect a lot of runners to be doing quite early on. Is there a reason that you left it for some time in the seed?
Not particularly. I had Chicken Little, so I could have done it pretty easy. I guess when I was considering it, when I was in Hollow Bastion 1, where I normally just pop in for Hollow Bastion 2, I only had 1 glide and like 1 quick run and 1 of everything.
Right.
So I wasn't going to move through it very fast.
Yeah, and then up till now, you've just had like something better that you wanted to do, like Port Royal or STT or something like that. So
yeah,
that makes sense. Okay, Olympus Colosseum so far. You haven't found anything. What are you hoping to find here? You said a couple fires.
Couple fires. Still don't have a fire. Would really like a fire to go with that final I forced earlier.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah.
Then we can go push Ziggy.
Ooh, a Zigbar push. That's spicy. You love to hear it. Okay, dude. I'm sure everyone's looking forward to seeing some Zigbar from both of you this seed. It should be a good time.
Yeah, gonna rack up those death counters.
All right. So good luck in the rest, my dude, and I'll probably check in with you later. I just realized I keep saying good luck on the rest and then checking in on like 5 minutes later. Maybe I should say good luck on the next 5 minutes or something like that. I'll see you then. But no, Surly going through OC, he grabs his Master Form, he grabs his Reflect, and he's going to be grabbing 2 reports as well, which don't actually point to anything crazy from what I remember. Where was the Hollow Bastion hint again? It was Twilight Town 3. So he was kind of waiting on a fire so that he could push the mansion. But that's kind of his downfall because there's actually a fire inside the mansion itself, which is the cruel irony here. If he just pushed it, then he would get a fire and he'd be able to level it. Also, PR2, Port Royal 2, is something that a lot of people will push, and he actually left after Barbosa, so he didn't go back for that fire in Port Royal 2, so... Oh, sorry, phone notification. I'll turn that down. But the fact that he's missing out on these fires when they could be so in his grasp is it's painful to hear him go, man, I just want a fire to level up fire.
Yeah, and it's like, we know where it is. Just,
I can't tell you, though. I can't tell you. It would be very fun to see them pushing World That Never Was next, because Surly doesn't have that hint for Port Royal that was in Hollow Bastion. So, he still thinks there could be proofs in the World That Never Was. For all he knows, the last 2 proofs could both be there. And we know that that's not true and that there's nothing remaining there, so... but it would still be cool to see those fights being done. As Sudo finally gets through the struggle fights without limit form. They are a lot slower. He definitely lost time to Surly there, so Surly has time to catch up. He's got some good important checks here in OC. I would love to see him push the mansion next. I know we have hindsight and we know that Report 11, Final Form, and Fire are all in Twilight Town, so we know it's a good play, but I would really like to see him go there next, but we'll see. I think he just got the report for Space Paranoids. Oh, he just got the report for Space Paranoids. He could decide to push that. It's a blue too. He... Okay. Alright. I like this. So he is going back into Port Royal instead. Realizing that he only killed Barbosa earlier, and that most people will push this world further. So he's going to keep going here, and he's actually going to get his fire, and then push the mansion. So
this is
he's
gonna work out, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he's starting to get the checks that Pseudo has picked up in these worlds and catch up a little bit, while Pseudo is struggling in STT. And actually,
and we know that there's nothing in there, so this is a
Right.
great opportunity to catch up. This is really interesting.
yeah, this is a big opportunity to catch up. And what's super interesting is that the important checks count has now basically evened up. Pseudo has 39, and Surly now has 38. Of course, we know that Surly is about to find a fire to make it 39, and Pseudo will find 2 cures to make it 41. But it's kind of evening up. Like this could be a super interesting end to the race here. Of course, the big advantage that Pseudo has now at this point in the run is that he has done Hollow Bastion. Like he has cleared Core Skip, which I'm pretty sure Surly will be doing before he does the 1k Heartless fight and everything. But he's probably going to be doing Core Skip and then 1k. So that's a massive time sink. It's probably around 10 minutes, I'd say, to do both of those. So Pseudo still has that advantage, but of course we have no idea where this last proof is still. And with one of the interesting things I'd like to see here is that there are 2 more things in Port Royal. If Surly finds the first thing, he finds the fire, and goes, okay, there's one more thing on Grim Reaper 2, he has Master Form right now. And that's something that Pseudo didn't have when he was in Port Royal. So that it wasn't even a consideration to do Grim Reaper 2 at that point for Pseudo. But it's definitely going to be a consideration for Surly. So I'd like to see if he does that fight. And if he does, and there's a proof there, then Pseudo might not get that for a long time, because I think he pushes Space Paranoids for 2 before he pushes the rest of Port Royal 2, before he does Grim Reaper 2. So that could be very spicy if there's a proof there.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I have someone in chat asking, what do all the numbers at the very bottom mean? You want to go over those again quickly for someone who hasn't didn't hear the explanation earlier?
Yeah, so this is a tracker, and it tracks all of the things that you get throughout the run. So, you know, there's some things like Cure is a little green circle, Blizzard is a little blue circle with a little snowflake in it, stuff like that. So it's tracking all the things that the runners pick up and the worlds that they got them in. So the worlds, the symbols on the left, there's like 2 columns, right? And there's a world symbol and then a number next to them. So the world is just where they found the checks. And then one of the biggest things about this is the hint system. So every report that these runners are picking up, a secret answer report, automatically gets tracked by the tracker and feeds you a number of important checks that a world has. So if you get a report that tells you that Olympus Colosseum has 6 checks, which is exactly what happened in this run, then you know that, like, you want to go to Olympus Colosseum. You want to grab those 6 important checks. And the goal of the randomizer at the end is to get the 3 proofs. We have found one of them. They're the little silver circles. So if on your right side of the screen, the right side of the tracker, you can see in Disney Castle, the little Mickey symbol world, it's got a blue 2 next to it. There is one silver circle there. That is one of the proofs. And if you look at Pseudo's tracker, you can see that he doesn't have that proof yet. So that's an advantage that Surly has over Pseudo right now. But in the opposite way, Pseudo has one of those little silver circles, one of the proofs from Hollow Bastion. So you can see that he has that advantage. It's the little crown, like towards the top left, the world that's a 9. So Pseudo has that proof, Surly has the other proof, and yeah, the numbers just mean that there's a bunch of important checks in that world. So it's likely to have it's more likely to have a proof than a world that doesn't have important checks in, you know, because yeah, and the more hints you get, the better. The more you start to understand like how they all interconnect. You can start to eliminate things. One really important thing that I don't think I've quite touched on yet is that if there is a proof in 100 Acre Wood, all 5 of the torn pages need to be in a hinted world. And if there's a proof on Drive Forms, like any of the drive form level ups, all of the drive forms need to be in hinted worlds. So that adds another aspect of the logic. There is a lot going on here, and it's very hard to explain. I do apologize. But yeah,
You're
so
doing a wonderful job explaining. I just want to say that. You're doing I've never seen a randomizer of this game before, and I feel like I really know what's going on, so thank you.
All right, that's good. So one example of why that might be important here is that on the right side of your screen, the right side tracker, you can see in the Land of Dragons, it's sandwiched between the number 6 and the number 4 on the tracker, the little red circle. That's where Surly found Limit Form. So that's one of the drive forms that we have not seen a hint for Land of Dragons yet. And there's like barely any hints left, right? So, I mean, if the last hint that we have here, I think we have 12 combined between the two runners. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to count them in a second. I'm pretty sure we have though. So that last hint would have to point to Land of Dragons for there to be a proof on drive forms. But if you look in the top right of the tracker, drive forms aren't hinted yet. So we would need drive forms to be hinted for a proof to be on drive forms, but we'd also need that limit form to be hinted. So we know, with information from both runners right now, and only one report remaining, that it's actually impossible to find a proof on a drive form. So we know that. The runners don't yet, because they don't have like all the info yet, but that's something that we know, because Land of Dragons and drive forms would need to be hinted for there to be a proof there, and that's not possible. As we see Sudo, okay, so this is really interesting. Both runners doing different things. Sudo just did Hostile Program in Space Paranoids and got a fire. So he now has Fire Aga, as Surly was looking for all the fires earlier. That's where they all are. So if he wants to push and find the other fires, then he needs to go to Twilight Town Mansion and to Space Paranoids. So Sudo, okay, interesting. So Sudo gets one check in Space Paranoids and decides to leave and go to Timeless River. And you know what was in Timeless River? The Proof of Peace. That's what was in Timeless River. So he's gonna go through here, he's gonna grab the chest, he's gonna find that second proof, and there we go. That's Surly's advantage gone. Because that one proof, the only thing keeping him in this at the moment for me was that Sudo would not check Timeless River and would not get that proof. Oh no, Surly takes a really late death on Grim Reaper 2. Actually, deciding to do this fight is kind of interesting. Like, people generally don't decide to do this fight. So he gave it one go. He died like halfway through. And it's just like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm leaving. There are better things for me to push. Port Royal isn't even blue yet for him, so it's not a hinted hint, and he's got better things to push. So he is actually going to push Space Paranoids. So he's going to do the Hostile Program fight that we just saw Sudo do, and he's going to find a second fire. Which, I mean, hey, that's what he wanted when we talked to him a couple minutes ago. So I'm actually gonna dip in with Sudo now, I think, and just get his decision making when it came to Disney Castle, to Timeless River, like deciding to leave that early and only push it this late into the run. Just want to kind of get his like why he did that, like how the run's going so far, and what he thinks like the last locations of the proofs can be, because he has 2 proofs remaining and a bunch of info. So you have to imagine that, you know, the third proof is going to be on one of these hinted worlds, maybe Space Paranoids, or that Grim Reaper 2 fight that Surly just left really could have it. Like, I'm starting to believe in that fight having it. So we're going to see, yeah, what Sudo thinks about Timeless River and pushing it at the time that he has. And then we'll also get his live reaction to finding the second proof as well as he finds it. Hey, Sudo.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey man, how's it going? It's been a while.
It's been so long.
How you doing?
I'm doing really well. We have 5 of the 7 remaining important things hinted, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay, so that's the idea now. Just push all those out.
Yeah, I think hints are the play right now. I'm okay. A proof of peace, so
Okay.
that was a good play.
Yeah, so talk me through the decision to to leave this till later, because there are a lot of runners that will do this immediately after Pride Lands, right? Like 7 minutes into the run, they would have cleared this. So how do you feel about Proof being there as well?
Proof being here tells me that I do have to be worried that I am now behind because, like you said, people go here a lot. I don't think it's a wrong play to put it off. I just think it's different, right? Some people like pushing it out because you can get some early XP and it takes some time, but there's quite a few chests after the opening. I go there just to get the early chests. So it's one of the things that I'm very used to this happening. If a proof does get there, and if I have a hint that's like, oh, there's only one more thing there, naturally I'm going to put it off because it's a very good early game play. So I'm a little disappointed that it was a proof. I was hoping it was, anything else, but it's not unrecoverable by any means. So I'm just going to keep playing my route the best I can and not let that get to me, I think.
Right, and I mean, currently sitting at 44 out of 50 checks. Like, any one of these checks now is so likely to have the proof that you've got to feel good about pushing these worlds now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the end is near, possibly.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, well, good luck finding that last proof. I
you.
think I'm gonna go hop in with Surly, but I'm sure I'll check in with you later, maybe in the world that never was. I'll try not to distract you mid-fight, but I'll try and catch you like midway through like some movement section and ask how you
Sounds great.
Alright, dude. Okay, so Pseudo, yeah, it's the sort of thing where a lot of people will push that first, the mini escorts in Disney Castle and get those opening 6 checks in Timeless River. But yeah, it's just a difference that the two runners had this seed. It was unfortunate that there was a proof there because, there was only one important check in Timeless River, and it could have been anything, right? It could have been one of the cures or anything like that, but unfortunately it was a proof. So Pseudo, he didn't say it explicitly there, but he's pretty sure he's behind because Surly would have gone there early, basically.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we know that's not true. We know that Pseudo has a big advantage from clearing out Hollow Bastion. The hint that Surly doesn't even have right now, because it was in unhinted Twilight Town 3, and Surly has just not pushed that. Even after getting the 2 fires, he is deciding to push out these hints instead of unhinted Twilight Town 3. So, yeah, I mean, it's very interesting right now. Oh, I just realized something that I should have realized earlier, but we could talk about it. See, I've been playing these randos for 9 months now, like since release, and there are still things that I miss constantly. Right now on Pseudo's screen, we can see the report for Hollow Bastion was in Twilight Town, and Hollow Bastion had a proof. The Hollow Bastion's number is yellow, because Twilight Town has not yet been hinted. That tells us that the last hint that these guys do not have yet is a hint for Twilight Town. Guaranteed. Which means we eliminate Land of Dragons from having a proof, because it's not hinted yet. We eliminate Drive Forms from having a proof, although we already kind of did that. 100 Acre Woods definitely doesn't have a proof. We know that, well, the Nev Was doesn't. And because the hint to Halloween Town was in 100 Acre Wood, and Halloween Town is still yellow, it needs a hint for 100 Acre Wood to make that blue, and for there to be a proof there. 100 Acre Wood's not getting a hint this seed, which means the Halloween Town is just going to be yellow the whole time, and we guarantee that the proof is not in Halloween Town. So, right now, the places the proof can be, I'm pretty sure, are only the rest of Space Paranoids here, or that Grim Reaper 2 fight. I'm pretty sure those are the only 2 places, the only 2 important checks that can have the proof right now. So that's really interesting, and the most interesting thing about that is Pseudo is now going to fight Grim Reaper 2, and Surly is in Space Paranoids, late Space Paranoids, hopefully about to get the 2nd check before he has to do the MCP fight, which could be a nightmare. Okay, it's not in the first 2 chests. Okay, it's a report, and it's a report for Twilight Town. Oh my. So it is the report for Twilight Town. I mean, we knew that. But the fact I just said that, went on a monologue about it, but the fact that he did get the report for Twilight Town means that he now pushes Twilight Town, because there's three more things that you go to the mansion. You hit that as hard as you can. He's going to find the Hollow Bastion hint, so he's going to know there's 4 more things there. So as soon as he gets this, I would assume he hits Core Skip, which is unfortunate because there's nothing there. So the decision to do Core Skip before 1k is going to cost him if he does decide to do that. But it's something that Pseudo did as well, right? So it's not like it's a disadvantage versus him. But I mean, the other big thing, I am pretty sure, like 100% sure, that Grim Reaper 2 has a proof. So this is incredibly interesting because Pseudo is right here. Surly attempted Grim Reaper 2 fight earlier and died, so he would have had that proof if he did it. So this is a super fun like ending section of the race.
This is a really cool end game to see, absolutely.
Yeah, and after all of that is said and done, they still have to get through the world that never was, right? They still have to get through some tough fights to beat the game that they could definitely die on a bunch. So if Pseudo has a bunch of deaths, then not only will Surly be donating a lot more to charity, but he's also got a chance to catch up in the world that never was.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it's not over. It's not over until Xigbar sings, but there's still a lot of catching up to do for Surly if he wants to win this. He has to get this hint and then go.
Yep.
Hello, match.
For sure. And speaking of donating to charity, we did just receive another $50 from Anonymous that says, an incredible cause being supported by an amazing con. Thank you so much. And yeah, just a reminder, if you do !donate in the chat, we would love any amount of support possible to help us get to our donation goal of $10,000. I would love to see maybe a $5 donation train as we approach the end of this, as we're getting to the middle end segment of this. I'm going to put my $5 in. Would love to see chat match me. Let's do this.
All right. Very cool. Yeah, get those donations in. We're nearly there. Okay. Well, I paused it slightly so you guys didn't get the delay. Proof of connection. Grim Reaper 2. Pseudo has found the last proof. That is it. He's got them all. I want to get his initial reaction, how he's feeling about those proof locations, and see whether he feels like he's in a good position or not. Because we know from the outside, he has a very commanding lead in this race. Let's just see how he's thinking going into final fights here, or World That Never Was. All right, Pseudo, we had to catch up with you after finding the last couple proofs. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good now. Like I said, I was a bit worried, but going back-to-back proof after that feels pretty good, so I'm less worried now. I feel like if I was behind, I was able to catch up with that one.
Mm-hmm. Right, and of course, Grim Reaper 2 it's a light check, right? It's something that a lot of people will leave to one of the last things they do, which, I mean, you did. But you got that, you decided to go there instead of, pushing Space Paranoids or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, all the proof's done. Logic doesn't really matter at this point, but you're hitting the world that never was now. How do you feel about that? What are your tools for the fights, and how confident are you?
I'm feeling pretty decent. We have final form. It's super high level. I can even put the Berserk Charge on it if I wanted to. I think I have a Berserk Charge Keyblade. I'm going to be putting on Second Chance once more, which makes it much easier. The one thing I'm missing is I have Aerial Finish, which works great with Duck Flare. So I'm a little sad that we don't even have Comet. We don't have Duck Flare. We just... we're kind of on our own for limits, but we're more than strong enough. I have 38 strength, 41 magic with this kind of crummy Keyblade on, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll let you focus on Xigbar and the rest of the fights. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, Pseudo feeling pretty good. I would too in his position, getting a Grim Reaper 2 proof. before pushing things like Space Paranoids, stuff like that, which unfortunately we have seen Surly do. But I mean, he kind of needed to at this point because he needed that information that Twilight Town was stacked so that he could get that Hollow Bastion hint. So I guess I should probably hit up Surly now and see how he feels about pushing Twilight Town and getting that Hollow Bastion hint and what he's going to do next. I would assume he's going to say that he's going to do Core Skip and then do the rest of 1K and just grab all those checks because, yeah, he's still missing 2 proofs, so they could easily just be littered around Hollow Bastion. Yo, Surly, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
Hey, so you have pushed Twilight Town.
I have pushed Twilight Town.
You've pushed Twilight Town thanks to the hint in Space Paranoids 2.
Mm-hmm.
And can you talk to us a little bit about what you found and how you're feeling?
We found a hint for Hollow Bastion that has 9 things in it, so I'm not feeling fantastic. That's a lot of things to be sitting there still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The good news is I have all the tools for Core Skip. My stats are looking great, so it should be pretty straightforward.
Mm.
But now I'm quite nervous.
Okay, right. Okay, well, I mean, Hollow Bastion next. What are you thinking of doing first here in Hollow Bastion? Because obviously there are 2 paths you can take here. You can do Core Skip, you can do 1K. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I like doing Core Skip first.
Mm-hmm.
1K is just a giant time commitment with not a lot of checks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to get a couple levels on Master first, even though I think I can do it without. We'll find out.
Okay. Well, good luck on that, and we'll catch up with you later when you find the other proofs, wherever they may be.
Hopefully soon.
All right. It is so hard to talk to these human beings and try to be impartial and not mention the other things.
We know everything and just being like, how do you feel about this? You're doing a great job, though.
Yeah, so which one are you going to do first? Core Skip or not Core Skip?
What are you feeling? The one that gives you nothing or the one that has really important stuff in it?
Yeah, talking to human beings is hard at the best of times, but in this specific case, you have to hold so much back. It's tough, as I've been watching this entire run for 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Right.
But I mean, well, it's definitely going to be like less than 3 hours these guys going to finish.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone in the back worrying about like time or anything, it's going to be less than 3 hours. I know the estimate for this run was around 3.5, just in case the worst case scenario came up. But,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's a very meaty seed. Like,
It
this
is.
a long one.
It really is.
Yeah.
Have time to sneak a donation in here?
Oh, of course, yeah.
So we have $196 from Count Gooby. Oh my goodness, thank you. And Gooby says, thanks to everyone who subscribed or cheered bits during Mid-Spring Speed Fling. This 196 donation is from all the Twitch revenue generated throughout the marathon. So that's all of you, chat. Thank you so much to everyone who's done that throughout the marathon. That's a huge amount. And I'll update us on our new donation total. We have $9,865 out of our goal of $10,000. We are less than $200 away. We can do this.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen in the way that you're like, oh, it's gonna happen. I don't need to donate. Still get those donations in if you can. Of course, they're incredibly helpful, and we're so close to that goal. So as soon as that hits, Frozen can completely interrupt me if I mid-sentence. We can hype up the 10K.
I just cut you off no matter what is going on.
Exactly. Yeah. I could be mid-interview, just jump in with it, and we'll celebrate. We just missed Pseudo doing Zigbar, so that was the thing. He just went through one of the hardest fights in the game casually. So he had a final form, and he also had the ability Berserk Charge, which he talked about putting on Berserk Charge Keyblade that he had on, and that basically means that you can attack forever. You can just mash X and attack forever, and if you do that with final form combos or with the ability Horizontal Slash, you can keep Zigbar looped forever. Basically, you can just mash X and attack him, and that's what he did with final form. And it worked incredibly well. Like, he didn't break out, and he killed him at the end. Because even though Like Berserk Charge negates your finishers. It doesn't let you do a finisher. It just does regular combos. Final Form's regular combos, because the Keyblades are swinging around you at the same time, something weird to do with that, also kind of counts as a finisher too. So you can still be in Berserk Charge mode and also finish Sigma. You can finish the fight, which is a really nice way to deal with that fight. And yeah, it was pretty easy for Pseudo. I'd like to say someone with that experience in Rando, if you have those tools, then it's a relatively easy fight. So the World That Never Was in general should be comfortable for Pseudo here. He shouldn't like let Surly catch up at all, but hey, death cycling can always happen on fights, so we'll have to see how it goes. Yeah, I can't believe I rolled this seed. It's such an interesting seed with the hints, and even the proof being in Timeless River and both runners like deviating paths at the start and one of them not finding the proof until later. Like there were so many interesting parts to this run that I've really enjoyed so far. Even core skip having nothing and a proof being on 1k Heartless. Like there are so many cool things here. Also, the fact that Surly did Grim Reaper 2 and tried to do the fight probably about an hour ago, like, or 45 minutes, something like that, a long time ago, he would have had that proof. And I'm not sure what his route would have been after that. Like, he still needed to hit Twilight Town 3 for that report for Hollow Bastion. So, I don't know. I don't know how his routing would have changed if he found that proof earlier on Grim Reaper 2. But he definitely could have had that earlier than Pseudo. So, it's super interesting how this route has worked. As a Pseudo deals with Luxord, like, it's trivial for the boys at this point. Like, Pseudo knows what he's doing. In the World That Never Was here. It'll be interesting to see what strategy he does on Psyx, because does he have Peter Pan summon? I'm not sure if he does actually. Okay, he does. It was in the World That Never Was itself. So he has Peter Pan. He could decide to just use Peter Pan on Psyx here. You can loop him. You can summon Peter Pan and then jump and do a couple air hits and then land, and then repeat that over and over again. Just for like a super easy fight, but I'm not sure if he's going to do that. He might just reflect spam and final form during this fight. But yeah, he's just making his way through the World That Never Was. He's got Psyx, he's got Xemnas 1, because there's a bunch of Xemnas fights. And then he's got the final fights, and then after that, he's done. So he's got maybe another 15 minutes left in the tank, something like that, and until Pseudo's finished with the seed with 46 out of 50 important checks, which that's unlikely. Like, the fact that those 3 proofs were that elusive the entire time, pretty crazy seed. So yeah, I'm glad I rolled this and it wasn't just like a super easy early proof seed, so we really got to like explore the logic of Rando and how it works and everything like that, because I think it's been a good showcase so far. Alright, so Surly getting through that fight, second try. We take a second try in this biz, and he's gonna be finishing up the rest of Hollow Bastion, finding the second proof, and then if I'm looking at Surly's screen here, he's gonna have the 8 out of 9 in Hollow Bastion. The only thing I think he can push is Port Royal after this, so I honestly think that he will finish 1k, he'll get the proof, and then he'll go straight to Grim Reaper 2, get that proof as well, and he'll have all 3 before Pseudo finishes. So it could be very close still in terms of, you know, if Pseudo death cycles a bunch.
It really depends on how the fights go. Absolutely, none of these fights are free by any means.
Yeah. I have a lot of faith in Pseudo because of the amount of experience he has. Like, we've had a bunch of competitive tournaments, and you may be like, oh, it's a randomizer. Like, how is it that competitive? But there's a lot of standard plays that people will make, and I think that's been present here as well, right? Like, as soon as the Olympus Colosseum hint was found, of course Surly was going to push that, and things like that. It was just the small nuances of Pseudo pushing this earlier than Surly, and vice versa, that really changed the course of this run. But, you know, little things like Surly pushing Timeless River that early, if there were 2 proofs there instead of 1, that completely changes the dynamic of this race right now, right? Like, Surly would be in such a better position. So it's just, yeah, I don't know. The randomizer is so cool. The tournament races have been really good. Pseudo's taken part in a lot of tournaments. I've knocked him out of a couple. I hate to bring that up if you watch his back commentary, but yeah, so it's super cool, and Sudo has a lot of experience. Is what I'm getting at here. So I think he'll be fine, but you know, never say never. A bunch of death cycling, and we may see Surly catch up yet. How are we doing on the donation front? Are we any closer?
It looks like so we're still at about, it looks like, let me try and do some math. We need 100 and I think $45 to get there. So if literally every single person in chat gave $2, we could make it there. I gave my $5. The runners have pledged that they're gonna donate at the end of this run. 135. I'm bad at math. Dang it. Thank you. So even less than I said. So if every single person gave 2 parentheses TWO dollars, we can make this happen.
All right, cool.
I think we can do this.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. Of course, Surly and Sudo, there have been a good few deaths for each of them. I would imagine like somewhere in the range of like 6 or 7 each, something like that. So they're going to be contributing like maybe $13, $14, something along those lines to get those numbers slightly up. So yeah, if everyone contributed, like even if it's a little bit, like just something, then
Absolutely.
definitely could be hitting that by the end of this run, which is super exciting. That's a massive total to hit. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible the work that everyone has done this entire weekend. So thank you to all the runners and staff who've made this possible.
Okay, and we have Sudo. He has reached the point that you're not allowed to be in unless you have all 3 proofs. He is a part of the all 3 proofs club. Surly, unfortunately, died on Demix. But, I mean, that's fortunate for us, right? Because we get closer to that goal. That's another $1 Sudo we'll be putting in. And Surly right now definitely wants to be putting on those deaths, because he has lost. I think at this point, like with that death on Demix, like it's a big mountain to climb. He still has to make the decision to do Grim Reaper 2 as well. So, hey man, die as much as you want. Add those deaths to Sudo's total. And we can hit that donation goal. That would be super cool.
We can do this, absolutely. I'm gonna put that donation link in chat. Oh, and we do have $5 coming in. All right, we have $5 from the Flying Marlin that says, "Why do they call it oven when you oven the cold food? About hot, eat the food. Let's get that 10K again." Yeah, you can make me say silly things like that. This is your opportunity to make me say whatever the heck you want. So I feel like you should take me up on that. Like, honestly.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. That's one of my favorite tweets of all time.
I'm sorry. So actually, we have $4 from KupoCraft that says Dono Train, and then we have $135 from Anonymous.
Let's go.
That says close strong, and we are at $10,009. Let's go, everyone! We did it!
Did it. Awesome.
Y'all are amazing! Thank you.
Wow, actually reached that goal. That's such a really nice high goal. That's super cool that you guys bound together and did that. Like, this marathon seems to have gone incredibly well, and I'm glad that we could finish it up with a little bit of rando, but that's awesome. I can't believe it. 10K.
This finale has been absolutely incredible. It's been a really joy to watch and get to hang out with you, Salad. I've had a great time.
Yeah, and you like Kingdom Hearts, I'm guessing? You like the game? You play Kingdom Hearts 2?
Yes. So I've been Kingdom Hearts 2 7 times.
Oh wow, okay, cool.
And 3 of those on Critical, but I've never done a randomizer. I've been wanting to get into it, and this has just completely sold me on it, because it looks like an absolute joy.
Yeah, no, it really is. And I've wanted to get into Celeste Bingo, so maybe the two of them can play.
Alright, well, feel free to hit me up. I play Celeste, we'll work this out.
Alright, cool. Yeah, I did some Celeste speedruns like 3-4 years ago, and they were super fun, so yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, no, and this has been such a good showcase as well.
It has. It's been such a unique seed, I feel, and seeing how these 2 really high-level runners do stuff so differently, it has been amazing.
Yeah, and they're both, you know, we're getting towards the end here for Sudo. This is the second to last fight of the game. and then we're gonna see Surly finding those proofs. We'll jump in, get his reaction to the proofs, maybe stuff like that. But I don't know what we're doing in terms of if you stop Surly when Pseudo finishes, things like that. We're just gonna let him finish because it's within estimate and just talk to Pseudo.
We're very within estimate. Let me check with staff how they're feeling.
Okay, cool. Because I mean, either will work, and I'm sure Surly would be fine with both. But yeah, I'm gonna jump in with Pseudo as he finishes this fight. I'm not gonna startle him like when this fight is still happening, just in case I cause him to die. But I'll see how he feels about the seed, and of course, like his world that never was very clean. So I just want to get his how he feels about that, because I'm pretty sure he'll feel pretty damn good about how clean that world that never was. Dude, there were so many words duplicated in that sentence. Okay. Alright, Pseudo's finishing up the fight here. Oh, okay. Alright, he nearly got swiped there, which probably would have killed him. Okay, that was close. Let's talk to Pseudo as he does final fight. Hey, Pseudo.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, dude? I just checking in.
I'm on the final fight, and I'm gonna be honest. If I don't get dome skip, I will die until we get it. So we'll see.
All right. Well, I'm gonna talk to you and distract you the entire time. During
Go for it.
So, ask you questions. You had a very clean world that never was. It looked like basically deathless from what I saw. I didn't notice anything.
I had one Zigbar death, but that was it.
All right, yeah. But
and that's because I forgot to put the just safety potions on. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. You need to make sure that everything is like 100% set up for Zigbar.
Yeah.
But final Xemnas here. Yeah, you're right. You really should be getting dome skip with these stats, and I'm sure you will. But okay, all right.
I mean, yeah, play it a little safer.
Yeah, so dome skip. If you don't know this exists, then this will kind of blow your mind. When you reach,
I have Trinity on.
Oh,
will this count?
Trinity's fine. You just do combo. Oh, dude, let's go. All right.
Well done. Well done.
Dome skip. Very cool. So when he's at about 0.8 bars, 0.7 bars in that last thing, that's what you want to aim for in like a regular speed run when you play the game vanilla, and then it triggers the dome cutscene where you just mash your action button and triangle over and over again to reflect the lasers, and then it's a 1:30 seconds long cutscene. So, and that's right at the end of a race. So imagine two runners entering that fight, one slightly behind, and the other one messes up dome skip. Like the possibilities there are so cool. But Pseudo, I mean, you finished. Do you know Surly's progression? Are you in a race time or anything?
No, I have no idea where they're at.
Okay. Did we tell him?
I think we can say yes. You did win. GG.
You won.
Nice.
So they're gonna get to finish though, which is wonderful. Staff has said we have to go ahead to let them finish out. So yeah, that was we can still get some interview commentary of your thoughts on the entire race right now. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
We have some time. Surly is on 1K right now, so he's gonna get that proof. And then he'll go straight to Grim and Patu most likely, and grab the third one if I had to guess. But Pseudo, there were a couple really interesting differences between your guys' route throughout that run. The first one being Timeless River.
Yeah, not surprising.
As you suspected, could be a thing. Surly went there right at the start, so I was in the middle of saying how everyone does the same stuff at the start of a race, like going to Pride Lands and everything, and we probably won't see crazy differences for a while. And then you just didn't do mini escorts, and I was like, that's one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one. I mean, we talked about it earlier. It's just it's not a bad play to skip it. I personally do it in my solo runs as well. So yeah, I probably would have gone there about an hour in or something, just in case. Or as soon as I found
I had the hint for it too, yeah. So it was one of the places that was good to go to, and you don't want to lose to it.
Yeah, but I mean, with the other proofs being so far anyway, you didn't have either of them for so long, it wasn't like a panic mode thing where you're like, oh damn, what if the last proof is in Disney Castle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did hit the 10K donation goal.
Wow! Congrats,
We did.
everyone. Thank you
We
for your
did it.
donations.
That was pretty damn cool.
And we have more donations still rolling in. So
Let's
real
go.
quick, let me read those off. We
Go
have
for it.
$25 from Hang On Get Ready with no comment. Thank you so much. And we have $10 from Dragons that says 10K. So happy to see the marathon doing so well and was very glad to be a part of it. So yeah, thank you to every single person who's donated and made this an incredible marathon weekend.
And Pseudo, just to add to that total, how much is Surly going to be donating?
I have died 7 times.
7 times. All right then. We could have died more. You could have thrown in a few more. Do you want to just reload the save and die?
yeah. Hit the save.
Nice round number.
Get some more money. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna actually cut you off real quick, Pseudo, and go back to Surly. So I'm gonna mute you again and just get his reaction on the 1K proof, how he feels about it. We're not gonna tell him he's lost yet.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Pseudo is muted. We're gonna get to Surly and see what he thinks. Hello, Surly.
Hey, Salad.
I had to check in. You found a proof there. Your second proof.
Second. Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you feeling about that proof location?
1,000 Heartless is a terrible proof location.
It is. Yeah.
It
Definitely.
100% is. And there's still a check left here, which I really don't like because I got my proof of peace, so we're gonna go check that. The other chest is the end of core.
Yeah, right. So it's what, 66% chance that it's the mushroom checks and not the core check. Of course, Sephiroth being off.
Yep.
Not having to do that, but yeah, that's super interesting that it could be in one of those two places. I'm hoping for you that the check is on the mushroom check.
Because otherwise I'm gonna go do some Halloween Town since we've ignored that long enough. Found Out World That Never Was is done, so hooray there. And then I gotta go beat my face against Grim Reaper 2. Yeah.
You tried to do that earlier, I believe.
I did. It's one of my worst fights. I know there's easy ways to do it. I just haven't learned them yet.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I may as well stick with you for the mushroom check, and
Sure.
we'll see what happens here. I've tried my absolute best to both of you to give away nothing about what's happening with the other guy. Like,
Excellent.
don't take anything I say like as it means anything.
I mean, we're 2.5 hours in. I've got 47 of the 50 important checks.
Yeah,
Like,
it's somewhere, right?
Come on. Let's see. I have 3 hints left, so it's one of those 3 places. So yeah, okay. Halloween Town it is. Let's hope it's not there.
You enjoy Halloween Town, and we'll get back with you later, dude.
All right.
This is fun. I hope he's not looking at the Discord because he's gonna see Pseudo like unmuted and undeafened the entire time. But we'll bring back Pseudo and talk to him. Hey man, what's up?
Hey.
Did I meet you at a bad time?
No. Pooh, look at him. He's great.
Oh, who is cute? You're right.
That's a friend.
So this is fun. Very interesting part. You'll finish so we can talk about what Surly's doing, right?
Yeah.
Surly is going to Halloween Town. He has not set foot in Halloween Town this entire run. So he is
because
just
it was a 1.
Yeah, but he's on 47 important checks right now. The 3 that he's missing is what's in Halloween Town? I can't
Nothing.
see
I didn't find it.
Like, is it? Yeah, but what do you have remaining?
Oh, I can find it. So I have Limit Form, Wisdom Form, Torn Page, and Hint.
Okay, we know where Limit Form was. Surly got that. So it was, it was Unhinted Land of Dragons.
What?
Yep.
And
Surly,
in the first part, or?
It was pretty early. It was Mountain Climb.
Okay.
Yeah. So Surly got that and then pushed STT, and he said Pseudo's not gonna get that. He hates Land of Dragons. It turned out you didn't go there and you didn't get a Limit Form. So that was there. I guess Wisdom Form and Pages then.
Yeah,
still
I'm
going?
trying to figure out where this hint was. Okay, the hint was in SP, which says Twilight Town. So yeah, it's either gonna be a torn page or wisdom form.
Okay. That's super interesting. That we're gonna have Torn Page and Wisdom Form. One of them is in Halloween Town, and one of them is guaranteed the last chest in core. Amazing.
Yeah. Wait, so did
Mushroom
Surly
checks.
already check proof of peace then?
Yep, he checked the mushroom checks. There was nothing. So, yep.
Wait,
it's the
we know what it is then, because wisdom form can't be in core. Oh,
Oh yeah.
so
Right.
he's gonna
Torn
get
Page.
wisdom form, and the final torn page is in the last chest of core.
Right. That's a part of the logic that I wanted to bring up but didn't. Is that the Cavern of Remembrance can't give you drive forms and it can't give you movement abilities, right? So it's more likely to have a proof than most places in the game because of that limitation. It's it drive forms and growth abilities because you need growth abilities to be able to get through core. You need at least like one aerial dodge or something like that, or a master form. So it's just to make sure that you can't soft lock and you're unable to do core when there's a proof there or something. So that is part of it. Hi, Sora. It's a beautiful day today. Perfect for honey.
Yeah, we'll
I
just hang with Pooh as we keep talking and let
Yeah.
Surly finish.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure, right? Like he's got 47 out of 50 checks. It's the Wisdom Form in Halloween Town, the Page in Hollow Bastion, and the Proof in Port Royal. He has all 13 hints.
Wait, he has all 13 hints? Then
Yeah.
which one of these is not hinted?
I
He shouldn't be going to Halloween Town then.
He shouldn't be going to Halloween Town, yeah.
Oh no!
And I worked this out while I was talking to him just now. But yeah, he should not be in Halloween Town because it's not blue. It's not that hinted hint that I've tried to explain over the past 2.5 hours. But
blue number's good, yellow number's not as good.
yeah, exactly. Imagine that before we had the hinted hint thing, before the numbers turned blue.
Oh, it's so hard to explain. I love the blue numbers now.
Yeah. I mean, my mind in tournament races trying to work out like the hinted in system and everything at the same time as I played was a nightmare. So it's nice to have
Agreed.
that. So it's not out finally, but yeah, I mean, you got like 46 out of 50. Surly is looking like 48 out of 50, 49. He's gonna get the wisdom form, and then he's gonna, I would assume, do Grim Reaper 2. He did say.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah. One of the interesting things about this run was Surly actually attempted Grim Reaper 2 about an hour ago.
Oh wow, that would have made it so interesting.
Yeah, he would have done that, got that proof. I don't know how much his route would have changed because still like his. Okay, so the big thing was unhinted TT3 was an incredible play in this specific seed.
Yeah.
Like giving you final form, fire, which he was also looking for the whole run, and the report for Hollow Bastion. So Surly had no progression in Core Skip or Hollow Bastion. Because of that, he didn't have that hint. And also forced final form without light and dark.
Oh wow. Oh, that stinks so much. Wow, so not pushing Twilight Town 3. I just like pushing Twilight Town 3 almost no matter what.
That was one of the biggest things in the run, the biggest difference was that, and it definitely helped to get you the win there. But I think just in general, just cleaner play overall. I think Surly's racked up a couple deaths in the past hour or so, even though you died a lot at the start, but I think your run was definitely cleaner towards the end.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I struggle with a lot, especially with marathons, where like I get nervous at the start of it, and as I go, as long as I have like a couple good things like that I did well, I'm like, okay, that went well. I start like getting more confident again and playing better. But I swear, every marathon run I do, at the beginning, I just play terribly, and I don't know why. Right.
No, I completely. I'm with you there. I did an in-person marathon. I ran KH2 at it around 5-6 years ago, and it was the most nerve-wracking thing ever. And I messed up everything. Right at the start of the run, the brightness was down on the TV, so I couldn't see where I was going in the woods. in Simulated Twilight Town. I just couldn't
So
see it.
you
It
can
was
RNG
pitch
manip
black.
either then.
I mean,
Oh.
it was beginner on PS2.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We won't talk about those days. But yeah, we're seeing Surly push Halloween Town 2. This wisdom form is not early for Surly, unfortunately.
Oh no.
He's going deep into Halloween Town 2. Imagine he just gets to Vexen and does Vexen. Just gets the wisdom form. Oh man.
Oh,
It's
that'd be so sad.
Yeah, it's just not knowing that hint logic
Yeah.
has been really unfortunate for him right now. I thought he would go straight to Grim Reaper 2. He said he would after Halloween Town at least, so
Okay.
pretty sure he's going to do Grim Reaper 2 before the last chest of core. But,
where was the world that never was hint? Did he prepare that, or is he like all the way through the fights, or not at all?
He has not started Zigbar.
Oh no.
No, you had a massive lead this seed, and it mostly stemmed, I think, from TT3. Just having all those good tools, and
Yeah.
Surly doing SCT a lot earlier than you did as well. Like LOD unhinted, right? He did that as well, so he's done a couple extra things that you didn't do, but in general, like you just played really well. You crushed it, and World That Never Was super clean too, which always helps.
Yeah. 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 Overall, this run was interesting. We had so much magic. This like magic stat, but also we got so many tools early on. We got a lot of like one magic, and then we'd start getting a lot of the next. So we got like a lot of thunders, a lot of blizzards, then a lot of magnets, then a lot of reflects, then a lot of fires. Like we just got like handed powerful magic early, and then when I'm like, oh, I wish I had blizzard, the game would just hand me like 2 or 3, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, we noticed the aesthetically pleasing blizzards in a
Oh,
line.
that's great.
On the right side of the tracker. That was great. Another interesting thing about the seed was Surly did Port Royal earlier than you did by a little bit. I think you I can't remember exactly what you did instead.
I did Beast Castle first, only because I lost my drive in Hollow Bastion. I was gonna do it before Beast Castle, but
and Beast Castle
then,
led you into TT2 push, right?
Yeah, I think so. Because I got a ton of things, and then yeah, I might have gone to Port Royal, but yeah, I think I went into Twilight Town. Yeah, no, I got the magnets. I'm like, okay, let's do Twilight Town 3, and then I went into Port Royal.
Yeah, Beast Castle having the Blizzaga as well helped you speed up Port Royal, so you saved time over Surly there. And he decided not to go back in after Barbosa to do Grim Reaper 1. So he didn't have that fire. And he actually didn't have the fire for a while, because 1 was in the mansion. And he was saying, like, up until, I think, still 2 hours in, he was still saying, like, I just want a fire, dude. I just want fire, I just want, like, to hit the mansion next, stuff like that. And it was unfortunate that it was just in Grim Reaper 1 and he hadn't done it yet. So,
yeah, fire is one of those that you can really depend on it. I wound up not using mine too much, just if we had so many other good magics, but fire is so good.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, Surly is on experiment now. If Wisdom Form is not the bonus reward from experiment or the pop-up afterwards, I think there's a pop-up afterwards.
There is. Wait, no, there's only one thing on experiment, I think.
Oh god, okay. Then if it's not the one thing here, then it's on AS Vexen. And he's
I mean, the nice thing about Vexen is he's very easy to do with Final Form, especially because I know we have a Fire Boost, and I hope Surly has at least Fire.
Yeah. No, he has Fire now, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it's on Vexen. Oh my god, I love this. This is great. He's doing Vexen, like and it's not hinted in Halloween Town. He's stopped. He's pausing. He's wondering. I'm gonna get his reaction.
Go for it.
All right, Pseudo's muted. Let's bring in Surly. Hey, Surly.
Hi.
How's it going?
Absent Silhouettes are on.
Absent Silhouettes are on.
Yeah.
Did you not know that?
I did. I was really hoping they weren't going to show up.
Yep. It's in the woods.
Is it?
I'll give you that one for free. So
Thank you.
Yeah. So you have done Halloween Town from the very start to the finish, and you still don't have the one important check here. That's got to feel like not great, maybe.
It feels not great. You hit the nail on the head there.
Okay. Vexen, I mean, do you feel okay doing this fight?
I've done it once.
You've done it once? That's a number above 0.
That is a number above 0.
Yep, I did my research before the race started. You have final form, fire auger, stuff like that, so hopefully...
I don't know what I'm doing here, though.
Okay.
So I'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. This is
Do I have a second to read a donation here?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
go for it.
Alright, we have $50 from Solson, with no comments, but thank you so much, and we've passed our donation goal, and we're now at $10,094, which is just incredible.
Wow.
Thank you, everyone.
It's been like 1,500 since the last time I looked up one.
Yeah, it's really incredible the amount of support
That's
that came
amazing.
during this run. So amazing job.
Awesome. All right, we'll let you focus on Vexen for now, dude. Good luck.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Oh man, the pain that I feel. Welcome back. The pain that I feel knowing that he's done Vexen like once in his life in a rando, doesn't know what to do, and he didn't even need to do Halloween Town at all because it wasn't a hinted hint. Oh no,
no,
Sally, what's going on?
Oh. Okay, final form, cool.
All right, that's a good start.
Yeah,
okay.
I imagine limit form was a mistake. Oh god, fire. Okay, thank you.
It was
Oh no.
Right?
I think he just menued wrong, or was it auto limit?
I don't know. He was on 1 HP and then he ended up going limit form, so I don't know.
Oh,
But
it was
he's gonna
probably
find
auto
wisdom
limit.
form. I have to check back in. I have to check back in and get his reaction. Okay, Sully, so it appears as though you found wisdom form on Vexen.
Yeah, we did.
How does that feel?
Feels great, Salad. It feels great.
That is. You had
Glad I pushed that so hard.
You had stepped foot in Halloween Town. You went to it, and Vexen had the one important check, and it's wisdom form. Man. Do you want... I want to add salt to the injury right now, but I don't want to be mean. Are you okay if I'm mean?
Go for it, man.
Okay. Do you know how hinted hints work?
I do. I understand that it's not a hinted hint.
Yeah. And you have all 13 reports.
Yeah, fair.
So, a proof cannot be there in Halloween Town. It needed to be a hinted hint, so it was so unfortunate. I was just watching it like, no, he's gonna do all of Halloween Town, and then the wisdom form was so late as well. Like, it would have been fine if the check was on Prison Keeper or something, but...
Oh, did it again.
The pain I felt. Okay, so Grooming Patu here, you have 2 chicks remaining. You have Grooming Patu, and you have the last chest of gold.
Yeah, it's a fact.
That's a seed. That is a seed. I can't believe how this one turned out, considering I just rolled it once, but yeah.
Thank you for this.
You're welcome.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's been fun so far. So I'll leave you with Grim Reaper 2.
All right.
But we'll catch up later in the World That Never Was fights.
Sounds good.
You know, it's at times like these, Marathon, that I'm starting to wonder if Surly would like to be first round to be mercy killed here. It's such an unfortunate situation. Okay, let's bring Surly. Sudo back. Hello, Sudo.
Hello, welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back. So, yeah, we're seeing Grim Reaper 2 here. He's gonna find that third proof and then go, I could have had this an hour ago if this wasn't my worst fight. Yes, I rolled the seed, and I just rolled it once. I didn't look at it even, so I had no idea where the proofs were. I guessed. Oh, he died. Oh, nuts.
Oh no!
That's a sad one, dude. Oh, maybe he'll message
Oh.
you and just be like, did you finish yet?
Yeah, I don't
But,
know.
we'll see. But yeah.
Um,
It's...
I imagine if he's looking at Discord at all and he sees me keep unmuting, or you keep unmuting me, I think he'll imagine that I finished, but I think that's the only metagame he can play right now.
Yeah, and I mean, if he does work that out and goes, okay, yeah, he's probably finished, right? Like, ask you or something, then whatever.
Yeah.
Well, we still within our remits, I think, to allow him to finish because of how underestimate this run is in general.
Yep, I do believe that is the case, and I'm sure staff will tell me if there's anything different.
Yeah, of course. If something comes up and we want to end it early, then we can just let Surly know that he lost. I'm sure by this point he may know that, especially the Halloween Town hinted hint thing. Yeah.
Did you explain it to him after the fact?
I did. Yeah.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
Are you okay if I'm a little bit mean to you here? And he was like, yeah, go for it. I was just like, yeah, no, it wasn't a hinted hint. So it was so painful, like watching the whole thing and from start to finish in Halloween Town. But I mean, we got to see it. We got to see an AS fight, which is cool.
Yeah, I think
Pseudo
that's awesome.
didn't do one. For some
No,
reason.
because I'm not good enough. Yeah, Surly's way better than me. He can fight them. I can't.
Yeah. So
They scare me.
that was kind of fun. I'm glad that we actually got to see one of those during the seed. We got to see Core Skip. We didn't get to see early Throne Room. LOD, unfortunately, only having limit form, with STT being a complete bait that pointed you to Agrabah, which had a page when 100 Acre Wood was like garbage as well. It was
You could tell 100 Acre was not the play after a while, and I did so much of it early on. Oh,
Right.
That's something I want to know. Did Surly do early 100 Acre after we got like 3 pages at all, or no?
Not as early as you. No. So I thought he had a bit of an advantage at the start because I was like, 100 Acre Wood didn't give you much, right? It was just
It was
report for
one
Halloween Town.
hint.
The report for Halloween Town, funnily enough. The one thing in 100 Acre Wood pointed you to Vexen having a bait wisdom form. This was some type of seed. And as we see Surly trying not to die here, I believe is the scientific term.
Yeah, and they're Surly looks like they're trying to go for Master Form, which is great, because that's like the best way to do the fight. But you need your party members alive, and they're too far apart. Unless he has Kiraga, I don't even think Kiraga reaches that far, though, does it?
He has Kiraga. It's if he stands right between them, then he probably could cure both of them. But he doesn't need to now. Jack's alive. So all he has to do is cure... Jack's dead again. But no, curing them is definitely the option here, and then Master Forming. If he keeps trying to survive here, then this could go really badly.
Yeah. This is one of those fights that speedrunning Kingdom Hearts helps you quite... Oh, no!
Yeah, it went really badly. I didn't want to interrupt because I see it before you, but...
Yeah, I'm actually going to swap to that. But yeah, speedrunning the just Kingdom Hearts like 2 on any difficulty helps a lot with Randomizer, because there's just certain fights that are really really different, but a lot of them are still the same. Like, this is a good example that as long as you understand how the Master Form works, you can just kind of always depend on that. Because like my Donald and whoever died, but I just knew when I needed to heal them that exact moment, because he stops attacking for a while, and then you just go Master Form, and then you can beat him really easily. So just that outsider knowledge helps a bit.
And one of the cooler things about Rando that do make it slightly different for the strap is that you're probably gonna have Master leveled a decent amount by this point. Like if you're doing Room Ripper 2, I'm guessing you've got at least like Master 4 or 5. And so you can Master Form earlier at the end, like and you don't have to worry about your party members dying and stuff like that during when he punches the ground in the last phase. That's another cool thing to do with Rando. But have you run the game? Like you've run the game normally on Crit?
Yeah, I've run it on beginner. I've actually never speedrun crit, but I've played crit a lot. I really like it. Rando has definitely made me want to speedrun crit, but I think for now I'm gonna keep doing randomizer just because it is so fun. But if I ever get bored with that, maybe crit speedruns will be in my future.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, this is a really rough fight for Surly. When we were talking to him, he said that this was like one of his worst fights. Like he's really bad at it. So
it's just a really technical fight. It's not like you can just power through it. You have to know how the fight works, which is kind of sad.
Okay.
No. Okay.
Oh, he was on like 2 HP.
Oh, I thought he was on 1 HP too. So, second chance coming in. Oh.
Yeah. Damn.
Oh no. Well, sometimes life just hits you in the face. A Mega Elixir would actually be pretty clutch here, honestly. Yeah.
That would. Yeah.
But like you said, Master Forming early is a really good play too.
Yeah, he's been accidentally limit forming a lot. He did say that he did that a couple times, so it's unfortunate, but we'll get there. Grim Reaper 2, boys. This is the fight. This is the fight with the proof.
Let's go.
49 out of 50th important check of the run. We'll be here. And we know exactly what the 50th is as well, through process of elimination, obviously. It was really, really epic seed.
There were a lot of things that were like very deep into the run. It was really interesting.
This seed allowed for you to make plays, which are, in my opinion, the funnest seeds. I don't know about you, Salad, but the jet seeds that kind of play themselves, and it's super just whoever is the best. Like, I do enjoy them, but I think the most fun ones are the ones where, like, you get a little bit here and there, and you can, like, look at your world list and be like, there's, like, 5 places I kind of want to go.
Right, yeah. And starting with, like, 3 early pages, or whatever it was, or 2
Yeah.
early pages, a 3 STT hint, and you're egging like, do I do it without limit form? Do I wait for limit form? When do I do it? Do I just leave it forever? Like, there were so many cool aspects to that run. PR and OC, you had the decision between pushing both of those at some point.
Yeah.
You chose PR. If you chose OC, you would have had Master Form earlier. You probably would have done Core Skip before PR, maybe.
Yeah, it would have.
Like, there were so many different aspects to that run that would have been that could change at any moment, and that's one of the cool things about Rando. Mega Potions, that can do. It is. Okay. We got into Master Form, boys.
Okay, cool. And it's higher level, so you should. Oh no. Oh no.
Okay.
Okay, just loop. Oh, he lost. Wait. He doesn't have the form boost on, does he?
Pain.
It's.
I feel for him right now, dude. It's a bad fight. Not a bad fight. It's a tough fight to deal with.
It is.
And there are sometimes, like, what he was trying to do at the end there with the Thunders, he kept doing this one attack where he's basically invincible. Like, you can't do anything, you just have to walk away from it. He wasn't playing as patient as maybe he should have to see if he does that attack first before doing Thunders, so it's unlucky. It's a very difficult fight, and if you don't have it down, then it's difficult, especially in a rando when you probably have less tools than you usually would. For example, like I'm guaranteed there are some abilities that would be helpful that Surly doesn't have right now.
Horizontal slash, key one. It's much better to fight this guy in the air if you're gonna physical combo him and not magic in. The horizontal slash helps a lot. Where was horizontal slash? Did Surly get it?
Oh, I've made a seed, didn't I? So we can.
You did make the seed.
Have a look and see where things are. You're right.
While you grab that, do you mind if I get in a few donations here?
Go for it. All yours.
Wonderful. We have $50 from Palpar with no comment, and $25 from Anonymous. Thank you both so much. We're sliding past our goal here, so we're now at $10,169. So thank you to everyone who's made this happen.
Okay, I have the seat up.
I
Horizontal
hope Surly's
charge.
keeping track of his deaths, by the way.
Oh wow. Oh, Pseudo. He has died like 10 times on Grim Reaper 2 alone right now.
I believe in him.
Yeah, we're gonna get plenty
I
of
knew
money
what I
in
was signing up
Surly's.
for. What were you saying?
We're gonna get plenty of money in for y'all's deaths as well, which will be really nice to round out the donations tonight.
Definitely.
We're gonna finish and Surly's gonna be like, okay, did I win? No. Okay, how much do I have
How
to
much
donate?
money do I owe? Yeah.
$7. Oh, okay. Pseudo owes 75. Yeah. This is bad. It's been good. Of course, right now it's just like we're just waiting for our guy to finish up this. There's not a whole lot to talk about.
Oh no! Donald died.
It's fine. He's got the Mega Elixir. Okay. Okay.
Just do it.
He's
Okay.
got.
Do it.
If he.
Okay.
Pause between thunders. He's not doing that. Again.
So
something
let-
dumb if you want-
Yeah.
Hey. He's not freezing him.
Oh. There's one more. Just freeze him.
Oh.
Okay.
I have faith, I believe.
Okay, that's all of him in. After this RC, he'll be on 0. He'll be vulnerable.
Okay,
Just grab
cool.
the medallions and put him in, and not play risky and die.
Yeah. I think this is it. Being low on magic though is unfortunate.
Yeah, I would eat. He doesn't have it. Oh,
No.
he did it. All right. I guess we get the reaction of the last proof. See how he's
Go
feeling
for it.
after that. Hi, Surly.
Hi.
You said that fight was rough for you. It ended
is.
up being a little rough for you, but you got through it in the end with the Mega Elixir into the Master Form.
Yep.
And you have found your final proof.
I have found my final proof.
All
Time to
right.
climb.
People have been wondering how many deaths you have so far. So, how much money inheriting?
With all of those on Grim Reaper, I think I'm at 18.
Okay. Well, that's very generous of you, Surly.
I'm working on it. We'll get at least 2 to 3 more on the climb.
Okay.
Maybe more than that, because I'm gonna take a wild guess. Say we're hitting the 3-hour mark. Suda's probably done.
Okay. Well, we'll see how much more money we can raise. Good
Gonna
luck.
aim for a nice round 25 right now.
Okay, cool. And I mean, do you feel good about the world that never was? I've got to assume you have with the tools you have right now.
For the most part. Ziggy here is going to be a bit of a hurdle, especially because I've got to customize my fire. Past that, though, stats are good, so it'll take a couple tries.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'll let you focus, and I'll catch up with you. Don't know why I keep saying catch up with you. Is that my catchphrase? What's up, Pseudo? Hey, how's it going?
Hello again.
Welcome back.
What was Surly's reaction?
He-
I'm dying to know.
Oh. No, I just asked him how many deaths he was at the moment.
Yeah.
He is currently at 18 deaths. So,
Oh, he needs to rack up a little bit more, man.
yeah. That's he's aiming for 25. He said. There's
Okay.
probably like 2 to 3 more on the climb, and then he said he'll aim for like around 25. So we'll see if that
Nice.
happens. If he doesn't die on Zigbar, if he gets a first try, I'm gonna talk to him again. Just be like, why didn't you die?
This is for charity, Surly.
You both know that we hit the goal as well, so
Okay, well, there's one more.
yes, okay, 19. It keeps going, dude. We're staying here. We're staying here, chat. This is not ending. If we have to be here on the 17th of August, we're gonna be here on the 17th of August, watching Surly do final fights.
Salad, I have work tomorrow.
Okay, you're gonna need to work tomorrow. The amount of money you're gonna be donating in August.
Very true.
But no, it shouldn't take Surly too much to finish this, but of course, I'm sure he's fine being stopped at any point, considering, like, he told me as well, he's pretty sure he lost. Like, the Sudo would have
cool.
run out, because he reckons he was about 3 hours in, which I think is about right.
Yeah. Yeah, about 3 hours in. It's really hard in rando with open cage, even if you know where, like, these are some late proofs. Like, if you're hitting, like, even my time, it's like, I'd be like, oh, I probably didn't win. I probably would have gotten, like, second or third, if not worse, in a race. So, like, when you're hitting that 3 hour mark, you're like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah. I think you played really well, basically the whole time. I think the SP deciding to do Grim Reaper 2 instead of SP2 was something that not a lot of people have done. So I honestly think that you played really well, like you routed well. Not having limit form for SDT kind of sucked, but I mean, going to LOD and grabbing that wouldn't have saved time or anything, so.
No, and like at that point, it's like a 3, and it's like, okay, it's my most hinted world. We had so many hints. It's like, this is definitely a world you want to go to, but unfortunately, it just didn't pan out. It was a mega bait.
Yeah. Surly might be taking another death here, make a nice around $20, I think.
Yeah. By the way, we were gonna look at the spoiler log, maybe after this fight, since this is the most interesting one, honestly, to watch.
I mean, I could do both.
Oh no.
Yeah, damn.
Unfortunately,
Zigbar is a really tough fight, ladies
This
and
fight is brutal, absolutely.
Yeah. On critical mode as well.
It's very hard. And if you have certain tools, it's like, it's hard. Without those tools, it's very hard.
Yeah, one of those tools being horizontal slash.
Where is it?
Oh, you both decided to pick sword this run.
Oh, no, tell me.
Levels were done from a level 14 self-hit. The levels were done.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah. Horizontal slash was level 41 sword.
Where's that put that? That's like mid-30s for the other
That
ones.
is... Nope. So that was level 20 shield.
Oh my god. Shield
Level
OP?
28 staff.
No!
Both would have had it. But you picked sword. Terrible.
Aw.
Terrible decision making on your
Never pick sword, man. It's just not worth it. Oh, is this fire strats? Okay, so he does the double fire strat. Which is like good if you can do it, and he's doing it, so. But it's risky. Okay.
Do it. Oh, you could get him in this combo.
Okay, yeah, he got him. He got him.
Alright, nice, Surly.
Honestly, not bad. That was only 2 deaths on Zigbar.
Yeah, that's really not that bad without like horizontal slash for extra cheese. But
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good time. But we're on 20. Again, if he gets like Deathless Luxed, I'll go in and be like, why did you first try it, dude? What happened to making Sudo donate?
I think this is interesting too. He's skipping the chests. I pick them up on the way. When you're missing an ability like horizontal slash, which can still be helpful in like some of the fights coming up. I don't know. It's one of those things like you can pick them up and maybe get something out of it, but skipping them is probably the better, more consistent play. Trinity Limit, put it on. It's so helpful.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you are missing from the sea, do you think, that you'd want to look at?
Another experience boost.
Other experience boost. Okay, let's find out where that bad boy was. Because you got the first one in Piglet's house, I believe, very early.
Yeah, yeah.
So easy too. It's on a Keyblade. It's on the Star Seeker Keyblade.
Yeah, I didn't get that one, I know.
Okay, Olympus Colosseum Hades. So,
Oh, yeah, you're not getting that.
no, you're not getting all 6 important checks in OC and then going, oh yeah, sure, I'll do Pete higher in Hades. You got all 6 before Pete, right?
Yeah, we didn't even have to do Pete. It was so nice.
That's really cool.
even though Hydra and Pete would have just died to all of the thunders and magic we had.
Stats were never like crazy good though.
No, magic was decent, but we never got that, like, I'm broken and this game is now easy.
Yeah, it was a nice balanced seed, and you had to do FF fights into 1K, you had to do Grim Reaper 2, so there were a couple of tough fights that you had to
I'm
get
so
through.
glad I remembered that I had auto wisdom and I put it on before FF fights and I went and got hit before I did it.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even realize that was happening. I just looked back at your screen. I saw you about to enter FF fights with 1 HP and auto wisdom showing, and I was like, no way you did that. That's such a good play. It's the kind of play that I generally don't think about because you have to go back a room transition and then back again. But that was such a great place to do it.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about OpenKH making some of those like room transitions and anything that has a load a little bit better because the loads aren't as long. So, okay, well, I'm in a room transition and go do it quick because it takes like 15 seconds, but you know, I knew I could get 5 more checks. It's like I would go to a world that took me 15 seconds or 30 even for 5 checks, so it's like might as well go do that quick.
Yeah. Okay, Sudo.
Yeah.
How good are you at Sephiroth?
I'm okay at Sephiroth.
Prove it.
Okay. But I'm not showing on stream anymore.
Oh. We've still got Pooh. Oh, I've got you.
Yeah.
I was like, prove it. I'm just sitting here watching.
Let's not make people have to work harder for that, but
Okay, gotcha.
oh, we're at 22.
22 deaths?
22 deaths.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rude, my goodness.
Yeah.
Luxords is another one that if you speedrun it, you get the strategy feed into your head because you need to know every single thing he has. But in a randomizer, that's kind of one of the annoying things. You can just kind of brute force your way through it, so you're never truly forced to learn how to fight him. 23.
23. Let's go.
So does not everyone who does randomized races, not necessarily everyone is a speedrunner of this game?
Oh, by far not. A lot
That
of
is
people.
really interesting. Okay.
A lot of
Yeah.
people just enjoy it because if you talk to a few people, and feel free to jump in with the salad, but a lot of people like this randomizer versus something like Ocarina of Time because it's not a logic-based key item randomizer, really. It's everything is randomized. Go find these 3 random
Of
items
course.
and go beat the fights. So it's just kind of fun. It has a lot of replayability. So I feel like if it was a key item randomizer sort of thing, I feel like more speedrunners would do it and less casual non-speedrunners wouldn't get into the randomizer.
Yeah, I kind of feel that. We've had randomizer tournaments with upwards of like 50 to 60 people joining them, and you know, Kingdom Hearts, it's not a short game by all means. And critical mode is very difficult, so having that sort of turnout is great.
That's huge.
And yeah, and you know, like 3 or 4 of them maybe would be like decent critical mode runners or have speed runs in the critical mode, but for most people, they're just enjoying it. Like a lot of people play this game casually on critical mode. Like that's seen as like the golden standard of playing KH2 casually because crit is so fun.
Yeah.
That transferring that from a fun casual playthrough to a fun casual rando playthrough, and then just starting to get like slightly competitive at it, right? Like it's a lot of people make that transition, and a lot of good randomizer players have actually come out of that. Like there's a lot of new players that have never speedrun the game before that are getting, you know, top 4s, top 8s in tournaments. So it's been super cool to see that.
It's pretty amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm really impressed the amount this community has put into this randomizer and hopefully the PC version that will come out here soon. Because I don't know. I think it's a very cool randomizer and stuff. And just to kind of shout out to some of the stuff this community has, if you kind of like what you saw, you don't have to take it super seriously. Like Salad was saying, it can be really casual. But one of the cool things that the community does is they create something called a Plando. So the community made tools that you could basically make your own randomizer. So you place all the items, you can make it really cool. And there's some really interesting kind of story-based ones or cool, just fun ones. Like to call one out, there's one where like you have 0 magic, but your strength stat is just insane. So you get a bunch of combo boosts and like you can one combo like some of the late game bosses. It's really cool. So there's more to this randomizer than just races and do this. Some people have made some really interesting ROM hack sort of scenarios.
And a bunch of different settings too, for if you were like looking to just do races, but you're scared of critical mode, then like people do beginner settings. Like there is a beginner setting that's quite popular. So there's a bunch of different options for you out there if you want to get into the randomizer and racing in general.
And if you hate Zigbar, boy do I have an item for you. It's called the Promise Charm.
And yeah, so you can put the Promise Charm on, which hasn't been on very often in tournaments and stuff like that. We've only had one with it on so far since we started these last year. But the Promise Charm item, if you get that anywhere, you can skip the World That Never Was fights. You basically get teleported straight to the final door, the big door at the end, if you have all 3 proofs as well. So if you have all 3 proofs in the Promise Charm, you can just go straight there. You don't have to worry about all those difficult World That Never Was fights. So there's really is something for anyone. Like if you want to do crit mode speedruns because they're fun, crit mode randomizers, but you can't beat Zigbar at all, then yeah, just throw the Promise Charm on and hopefully you can find that another way to deal with it.
And hopefully the Promise Charm is not in the World That Never Was. And you can actually even turn off worlds if you wanted. Let's say you are like, oh, I'm going to put the Promise Charm on and you never want to go to the World That Never Was. You can basically turn it off and the randomizer won't put anything there. So it's really cool. There's a lot of customization to it too.
Yeah. Okay, well, Luxord's gone. We've dethroned one of the only British organization members. Is it the only British one?
I think so.
I don't play this casually enough. This might be a question for Frozen, no offense.
Could you even explain the story?
Oh my goodness. So I think actually the Kingdom Hearts, I started with Kingdom Hearts 2, funny enough. So I don't know the Kingdom Hearts 1 story nearly as much as this one. I actually think that if you view Kingdom Hearts 2 just in a box, it kind of makes sense because I really like the antagonists of Organization 13. I think they're really good villains and make this really interesting. So the lore of just this game alone, I think I could explain. The lore of the series, absolutely not. No.
No, there's too much going on there, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I know.
You know if there's more than one British organization member?
What?
There we go. That's a no. I know Luxord.
Yeah, Luxord is. I think that's it. But I think 1, Chain of Memories, and 2, like, they all kind of make sense, like, in their own bubbles, and I think it's a pretty good story. And then we start getting off the rails, and, like, I don't think the story's bad. There's a lot of cool things, great characters, but I can't follow it. I can't read flowcharts that well, like all the people making YouTube videos.
So to the organizers, Surly probably has like 10 minutes left or so, with only a couple deaths here or there. So you can, if you do want to do the intro, then you can go ahead and do that at some point. Sorry, intro? Outro.
Intro.
We have another marathon after this where we're gonna keep going with
All right, Salad. Time to plan a marathon because you said this all by yourself. Go.
Okay, every single race is a Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizer between me and Sudo.
Oh no. Oh no. I told you have to work tomorrow. Why don't you care about my well-being?
True. Okay, Surly should have Zemma's dead here and building skip.
Hopefully. Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
Oh.
Actually, that combo would have killed him, but sure, we'll go limit form. We'll enjoy that.
Just for the flair of it.
Yeah, of course. Did you get building skip? Can you remember?
Yes, because I did Trinity limit.
Yes, very good.
I didn't have a limit form though, so I didn't know if I would get it. I'm like, I need to watch the HP to make sure I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this game is really mean to give you like a bunch of accessories and armor at the very end when we knew we didn't have to do this world. It was very sad.
Dang.
Yeah, of course. That's an option that some people can do because you do need to clear it anyway. And if you don't think it's going to speed up towards the end after you find the third proof, then you can just do the world that never was and grab like, because there's no important checks, but I mean, what is important, right? Like there could be a glide or an aerial dodge or something to speed up your run. Could be an item
An
boost.
experience boost could be huge.
Experience boost could have been here, exactly. So getting this done as quickly as you can is probably a good play for the most part, I'd say. But yeah, on the search for the final proof, you could find tools that make the world that never was easier. So it's a hard balance deciding which one to do. Which round to take.
And that's why I think Promise Charm, we talked about a little bit before, can be really interesting because you have to make a choice if you want to try to put off the world that never was or actually invest in it because people aren't going to go there and a proof can still be there. So their races decided on the fact that someone decided to push the world that was never was when Promise Charm was on and no one else wanted to go there and they just win.
Yeah. I love the randomizer pseudo.
It's really cool. It's really interesting to hear about it. Would love to are there places where if people who have had a good time with this would be able to catch out more races like this?
Yeah, there's Discord for all the tournaments, and if you just want to join basically for the pings, all the tournaments are laid out there, and it's like the Blitz tournament, and it's kind of owned by Spike Vegeta, so I think he has the main link in his chat.
Wonderful.
I can link the main 2FM Rando Discords in chat. Is that okay?
I mean, I would think so, absolutely.
Okay, we'll see if I'm allowed to post links. There we go. So
There it is.
if you want to join the Randomizer Discord, that link should you can do your 2FM randomizers and stuff like that. But, in terms of tournaments, I mean, twitch.tv/KH2FMRando has been restreaming, like, we have official Discord leagues that happen. There's been 2 of those so far. I won one of them. And they happen every now and then on that channel. But honestly, just search the Kingdom Hearts 2 directory on Twitch, and I'm sure you'll find like a bunch of people playing randomizers, a bunch of tournament matches happening and stuff like that. There's actually a small plug. There's a tournament grand finals is actually happening tonight in just over a couple hours.
Well, that's perfect. If people love this, they can head on over there.
Yeah, Ninten is one of the people in that race. A lot of you may know who Ninten is if you like Kingdom Hearts 2 stuff. He's a very good speedrunner. So, yeah, that'll be happening tonight even. So, tournaments are always happening. There's one basically every weekend at this point. So, it's a very active scene, and I'm pretty happy to be part of it.
All with different settings. We kind of have what we call the league settings, which is what we used here. And those are the ones that are used in the tournament Salad was talking about. It's much more like, oh, we're going to keep using the same settings for all these races. And the weekend tournaments are like, let's change it up every single week. The Rando, you won that one, right, Salad?
I did. That was a good time. Yeah, so you like randomizers, huh? What about randomizing the settings of your randomizer? So you have no idea going into the seed what the settings are going to be like. You don't know if a world is going to be off, like it's turned off. That's one of the options. You can make it so that a world gives you vanilla checks, so it gives you everything that it normally does in the main game, So Hollow Bastion gives you it gives you a blizzard, it gives you a fire, it gives you Chicken Little, it gives you Stitch, all the things it normally does in the main game. So you have to remember those things. Work out if it's vanilla based on the checks. There's one that just replaces everything in the world with synthesis items, so it's complete garbage, and you've got to work that out. There were so many different things, like whether Atlantica's on or off, because Atlantica exists in the randomizer, and it is on a very few settings. Like, most people generally don't like playing with it, but Atlantica's there. So Rando was super fun, because you went into every seed, and you just had to work out what was going on, like, the whole time. So that was a really fun tournament concept, and there are so many different ones that are really exciting. And we have to get you in those tournaments.
Yeah. Do I have time for a couple donations in here?
Go for it.
Yeah. Sully's just finishing up with this, and then he'll be on the final fight.
All right, sounds good. So we have $1 from Peppa Smash that says I had to squeeze in one more so Helix wouldn't have to. You're welcome, and shout out to Pepsi. But for real, GG everyone. Thanks, Peppa. And we have $20 from Ive Newt that says I'm always blown away with the support that comes with the event. May not have been able to spend as much time with the event this time, but I was so proud to see how it's been going. I love the speed press through like my second family. You make doing this so worth it. A special thank you to the volunteers, runners, donators, and viewers. We all made this happen together. Here's to 10,300. I know we can do it. And yeah, we've raised a total of $10,190, which is absolutely incredible.
If anyone wants to match the deaths, you could donate $7 if you want to match Surly's donations he's gonna have to do. Or, I don't know, I think I'm at like 25? I think he is at 25, and that's what he said he'd do, so...
Nice.
A nice round 25. I'm gonna go in and remind him of that before finals ends, I think. Get him back. Yeah, I'll tell him he has permission to get Deathless final fight. It's okay. Cool. What if we got another $110 before the end of the run? Surely not. There's no way. There's no
Wow. Salad is doubting you guys. Are you kidding me right now? Are you gonna let this guy, the one who's like, I've won 6 tournaments, talk down to you?
I never
think
said...
we've proved Salad wrong, I think.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. This has been amazing. But I didn't mention that I won tournaments. That was silly. But I have won 6 tournaments.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought he was taking the death on purpose because his HP was weird.
Nope. He considered giving $1. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Ah, okay. One more dollar in the pot.
I won't disturb him mid-fight.
This fight can be pretty brutal, honestly.
Okay, so recently I was on Speedrunning Underground. It's something that Spike Vegeta puts on, and I had probably a 20-minute lead in the entire randomizer. I died to this fight probably 14 plus times, and I lost by 20 seconds at the end of it. Because I can't do this fight, yeah. I lost to Violin. I died to this fight a lot, but Salad, I died a lot to Zemnis 1. Don't ask why. I didn't have slide dash and I had flash step and I just kept like being short and it was a bad time.
It's okay, Sudo. I'm not like it's alright. I'm not gonna judge you. I know I've won 6 tournaments, by the way. I'm not gonna judge you for that.
Oh no! I hate this. I hate when you get re-grabbed.
This pattern either is not familiar with this.
Because it's different. You can't do the same thing. It will not work.
It's exactly the same.
Wait, is it?
Yeah, but he didn't know it at the start. Like, you could tell.
I see.
Wasn't great with the reflect patterns, but yeah. He's in laser phase. The elixir will get his HP back, so hopefully this should be it. He'll chain this limit into another reflect. Yeah, I think he probably takes the dome and won't worry too much about getting dome skip.
Yeah.
How many times he died on like Ring 2 and stuff, he probably just wants to finish. Yeah, no.
Oh yeah, that's it. So all he has to do is basically let this limit go out, and he should be in it.
Yeah, he even caught it there, so hopefully. If the finisher doesn't hit, then he's not actually going to be in it. Okay, it's
Okay, yeah, we're good.
I don't know why he's in part.
Oh, yeah, he maybe could have hit it quick, but probably not.
If he jumped and pressed X, then he probably would have got the dome skip. But hey, he's in the dome. We're gonna see
And both runners underestimate. Woo!
Oh wow! Yeah, that actually happened. He's never in doubt. What's the time on that?
It's at 3:25:010.
Oh wow! Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Surly is definitely not going to be happy about this run, but hey, it was a rough seed, and there was a lot of hard boss fights, and you can see if you're not prepared for one of the fights, like Grim Reaper 2, how tough that can be. So, we got a good example of that.
Just like one-time Finals MNIS1 was my kryptonite. One final thing on it, Salad, guess what ability I forgot I had? Guard. Guess what's one of the best abilities to have on this fight? Guard.
Yeah, no, God helps.
So, yeah, I died a bunch because I kept running out of magic, and, yeah. And then I remembered I had guard, and then it went much nicer.
Alright, I guess we bring in Surly now and say hi.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, we definitely want to get a little bit of post-race commentary, but we do want to be moving into wrap up fairly soon. So yeah.
Gotcha. Alright, Surly, hello my friend.
Hello.
Welcome.
Oh, Suda was done about an hour ago.
Yep.
Yeah, it was rough. Like the seed was rough. Grim Reaper 2, if you're not comfortable with it, it's a nightmare.
It's a bad fight. Yep.
Yeah, and then
Which is why I dipped out of it.
Doing Vexen, unhinted LOD, there were so many things that lost you time there.
Oh yeah.
But
That
it was
wonderful STT that you gave us the hint for in GOA and then was completely useless. We appreciate that.
Yeah, that was great. And there was one point in the run though, I think about an hour and a half in, where you both had like 39 important checks each, and you were on Grim Reaper 2. So like it was so close at that point, and then slowly I think Sudo pulled away a bit and finished it quick. Yeah, it was a super fun race to watch for such a large amount of time. It was crazy. So
I'm super happy. We came in underestimate, but this is exactly why the estimate's where it's at.
Yeah.
Hey, Surly, how many times did you die?
Oh yeah.
It's a rough count because I lost a little track there, but I think around 27.
I'll round up to 30 just in case you missed a few. Then,
all right.
Do you want to guess how much you're gonna have to donate?
$5.
7. You were very close, and a lot of them were in like the first 10 minutes, actually.
I'll be perfectly honest. A couple of those Luxor deaths were padding. There was no way you weren't done, so we're gonna get it some nice quick deaths in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, GG's guys. Anything else you want to say? Because that was a good time for me. I enjoyed it.
No, thank you, Surly. Thank you, Salad, and thank you for letting us close out the marathon. That's it from me.
Yeah. I'll just plug the KH2 Rando Discord. It's a great time. Fun things coming soon with the PC release, if we can figure out how to get those crashes to stop. But in the meantime, it's super active. It's super fun. I only started about 4 or 5 months ago, and yeah, it's just a good time.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, y'all. That was absolutely incredible. What a wonderful showcase, and thank you to everyone who's been here watching the entire weekend. GG's to all involved. Oh, we do have some donations rolling in. Let me catch up on those. I see that. So we have $10 from Anonymous. We have $50 from Holo Hero that says, "Great job, everyone." And we have $150 from Abum that says, "As promised, here's $5 for every death, Surly." So with that, we have crossed the Midwest Speedfest donation PB. Another $30 came in. So we're at $10,430. Thank you so much, everyone. So yeah, we have $30 from SudoTrainer that says, "Thank you to the Mid-Spring Speedfling family and so many deaths." There it is. We have crossed new marathon PB for all of us involved. Let's go. All right, so as we are finishing up here, it's time to hear from the entire staff and everyone who's hanging out. Thank you so much. Let's hear from everyone.
これでも悩みはたくさんあるんだけどな。例えば